Let's see what All right. From Emery Sewell Stadium in beautiful downtown Ackworth, I'm Jeff Chandler.
Jim Black.
Nate Halbrooks.
Nate is joining us as our sideline reporter this evening.
We're upscale in the NWGYFL these days.
If you have not been around the NWGYFL broadcast, you're in for a treat tonight. We have mic'd up refs. We have sideline cameras. We have a sideline reporter.
That's right.
It's not, now I wouldn't say quite like Hannah Storm. All right, Jim. Who's contesting this game tonight?
We have this is the 145-pound Division I Super Bowl here at North Cobb High School between the Douglasville Tiger Cubs coming in with one loss on the season, and that loss was to their opponent this evening, the new team to the Northwest.
Wave if you can hear me, boys.
Gotcha.
Which is the Atlanta Colts. Atlanta Colts joining us for their first year this year.
They're Dunwoody tough, I would say.
They are. I believe we have been led to believe they're Dunwoody tough. I've played them. Dunwoody tough is pretty damn tough.
Pretty tough. Pretty tough. They, I think Larry runs that, Larry being the head coach of this 145-pound Atlanta Colts team. Is it the single
We'll
wing?
go out here. We can't get an interview with Larry Pankey.
All right. Is that single wing with the wedge blocking?
It's the wedge offense. It's a little bit of an offshoot of the old single wing, the old Notre Dame single wing, Notre Dame box. It's an offshoot of that. It is an incredibly difficult game to prepare for, and it looks like we may be
down here on the field. Larry Pankey, the head coach of the Atlanta Colts 12U team. How do you think this game's going to go, Larry?
They're big and fast. We're going to do our best.
Good luck to you, sir.
Nate Halbrooks is the king of the one-question interview there.
When it's on this one, you're controlling what the camera, it's you, and when this one, it's Matt down on the sideline.
And before Nate interrupted us there, Jeff, what we were talking about was the Atlanta Colts offense. This little wedge offense that they run is three backs in the backfield with a wing back off to one side. A lot of confusion of where the ball goes.
Oh,
just an incredibly difficult offense to prepare for in 1 week. 6 hours of practice is what you have to get ready to play this team, and it's unlike anything you see.
And if they execute this offense well, I would assume their line is well versed in how to high step as they're getting down the field to eliminate anybody trying to cut block them.
They are. The game plan, and this was our game plan. My team played both of these teams during a regular season, and our game plan going into the Atlanta Colts game, we thought we would simply cut their offensive line up front, pile it up, and make them do what they didn't want to do. With a final score of 42-7, let's just say that was not the game plan.
It didn't work out.
No. What will impress you about this Atlanta team? They're not flashy. They're very well coached, extremely disciplined. Atlanta is not going to beat Atlanta.
I see what
you can hear me, Jeff.
Yes, sir. We got you, Nate.
So, quick.
I think Nate.
What do you think, Charles?
Oh, it's going to be a great ball game. You got two great teams here. So, best man win.
Looks like it's going to be an exciting ball game. Good luck to you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
That was Nate Halbrooks on the sideline interview with Mr. Charles Jones from Douglasville Tiger Cubs. But getting back to their offense and their team in general, it sounds like they're a very disciplined organization.
Like I said, Atlanta's not going to beat Atlanta. Being Douglasville tonight, if you're rolling in here, you better understand one thing is they're not going to have turnovers. We played Atlanta in the 6th game of the season. They fumbled one time against us, and Coach Pinky told me after the ball game that was their first fumble of the season at that point.
Wow.
That's pretty remarkable at the 11 and 12-year-old level to have one fumble in the first 6 weeks of the game.
And another remarkable thing is between the two teams, I think we had, was it 6 players over 200 pounds tonight?
Yeah, I think that's right. We had 4 from one team, 2 from the other. Douglasville, of course, a very, very large 11 and 12-year-old football team.
And let's reiterate that, 11 and 12-year-olds.
Yes. 2
of them weighed 233 pounds.
Yes.
I weighed 228.
I weigh 230, so they had us both beat. Jeff, we're both playing with a sticker on our helmet, but we're not the biggest kids on the field.
We're not the biggest kids on the field.
Now, don't get me wrong. Don't take anything away from Douglasville. If you think these big kids, they come out here with 5 of their own sticker players, restricted players over the 145-pound weight limit, and we'll get back into what that means here in a minute. This is not a slow-plodding football team. They are lightning fast. They will burn you with big plays.
I was watching them warm up before the game, and it looks like they're very well coached, executing their warm-ups in a way, almost looking like a high school type warm-up. Position specific.
Here's going to be the interesting matchup, and if Douglasville does manage to close off that little up-the-middle wedge play where you got a quick little direct snap, the ball's right up between in one of the A-gaps, Atlanta will go to what is a power sweep. Looks like the old wing T power sweep. 3 lead blockers, the backside wing backs coming around.
First backer that shows is getting pinched inside.
But these 2 outside linebackers from Douglasville are grown men. They will flat blow your offense up if you run right at them. So a lot of strength to strength here. This game's going to come down to a couple of things. It's going to come down to coaching. It's going to come down to what these close, tight ball games come down to. Turnovers and mistakes is what this game will come to.
And I would like to add, who's made the most adjustments from when they played in week 1, and it was a one point win for Atlanta. So it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't a game that was decided early or out of control.
Week 1 of the regular season was a 20-19 Atlanta Colts win at the Atlanta Colts Park. Douglasville talking with their coaches, talking to Charles before the game, his comment to me was, we've gotten a lot better since then.
Well, Jim,
I find it hard to believe Atlanta hadn't gotten better as well.
Also.
So I think we're in for a show right here with this ball game.
I'm going to make an early prediction. This game will come down to the difference in this ball game may, in my mind, watching that Atlanta kicker warm up before the game, his leg may become the difference in this game.
Tell you about Atlanta. They do not punt. They will attempt field goals. And if they're out of field goal range, they'll line up in a field goal formation and kick the ball down. Same rules apply as a punt. But they can directionally kick that ball and not kick it to one of these athletes from Douglasville who can just rip you a 97-yard touchdown when you're not looking.
Very good, very good. That's a good ploy.
This is different. I've done a couple of games this year on broadcast. This is the first time it's been from this age group, from the 11 and 12, where I've coached this year. And I've played both of these teams. So it's to the point where I feel like I know a little bit about these teams. I'm excited because I've played both of these teams. I want to see how these two match up after that first game of the season.
I'm interested in this myself. This could be our 7-year-old Super Bowl was a pretty exciting game, and this could rival that one. The 10-year-old game was a good game, but this could turn out to be the barn burner of the night, which you'd like to see in your oldest age group.
And it's good to see the Atlanta Colts here. First year in the league, put one team in the Super Bowl. I feel like they've been very well represented, an extremely good addition to the league. As I told somebody earlier in the year, I feel like Atlanta brings just as much to the NWGYFL as what the league brings to them having them a member. They've been a good member of the league, and to put a team here in this biggest age group, I think is big for this league.
And I had spoke to Larry Panke earlier in the day and asked him how his first year in the league and the experience for the Colts were, and he said if you knew what we had came from, you would understand how excited we are to be here and what a great experience this has been for us. And they hope to put more teams into the league next year that will even strengthen us even more.
And that's been the plan all along. Jeff and I were both on the expansion committee when we met with the Atlanta Colts, and it was they were going to dip their toes in the water and put a minimum number of teams in to get in this year on a probationary status. But the plan all along is for them to meet the bylaws and meet those 5 Division I teams coming in their second year, and they've made commitments tonight that that's going to happen, plus a little bit more.
Yes.
Got that up there.
And, Jim, let's go back to a minute. We talked about restricted players, and some of the folks listening here at home may not understand what we mean by this. So we are an age-based and weight-based league, and I'll let you go ahead and expand on that a little more if you want, Jim, as far as what our playing rules are as far as when we talk about restricted players.
Every age group has a weight. For the 11 and 12-year-old division, let's use that as an example since that's what's playing. The maximum weight is 145 pounds. Now, in the old days when a kid didn't meet that weigh-in, he simply didn't play for the day. With the restricted players, they put a marking down their helmet. You'll see if you're watching this game on TV, bright yellow stripes down the middle of some people's helmets. Those are players who are over that 145-pound weight limit. They are restricted to playing on the offensive and defensive lines in a three-point stance between the tackles. If defensively or on special teams, if the ball winds up in one of them's head, it's a dead ball at that point. It's a safety rule. It's getting these bigger kids a chance to get on the field and not just not playing, but it is a rule for safety for the lighter kids that are out there.
And I've talked to some high school coaches who are just tickled that we went to that rule that allowed the bigger kids, because there was nothing worse than having a 15-year-old boy that had never had a chance to play football that he saw walking into the halls that was 6'3" and 235 pounds, but he had no football skills because he was always too big. So.
Absolutely. Nice deep kick there by Douglasville all the way down to the 15-yard line. Picked up by number 25 from Atlanta. That's Jeffrey Powell. He returns the ball back out to the 20-yard line where Atlanta will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20.
Well, I think we're going to get a chance to see this wedge offense that the Colts run, so I'm kind of excited to see this.
Before they run the first play, we went into it with a game plan. I wanted our coaches to help our kids. So we positioned ourselves on the sidelines, and I told the coaches, with our defensive perspective, yell out left, right, or middle where the ball went. On the first play of the game, one coach yelled left, one yelled right, the other one yelled middle, and I knew we were in trouble.
That made for a long while. Look at the tight
Here
bunch.
they are in the wedge. It's foot to foot up front. And here comes the ball out the back door, right up the middle.
Look at that. Look at the moves. Shifty. That is number 25, Jeffrey Powell, with a nice run. What was that, a gain of about 35?
37 yards. Going to be out of bounds at the Douglasville 43-yard line. And that's what you're teaching kids. Every week you're keying on something, whether you're cross-keying or reading the offside back, whatever you're doing, those keys are flush when you play this. The ball's coming from 8 different directions.
Yeah, and Jim, it looks like they're running a no-huddle just as well. This is going to add to the confusion.
Larry calls everything from the sidelines. They get lined up, make the defense get set. He'll make his call from the line of scrimmage.
Well, we got a flag on the play.
Looks like it's going to be a formation penalty is the way that one came out.
Let's go ahead and we got the referee mic'd up. Let's see if the ref will turn his mic on. Looks like Larry's not liking the call here.
He's really not liking the call.
At all.
He's extremely upset with the call. It's going to be some kind of formation penalty. He held up one finger, and I think if I read correctly from here, his lips says it's the first time all year. So something about the formation he got flagged for, and he is not the least bit happy with it. It's a whole lot more easy to be calm from up here, but I can tell you I'm a little concerned with there being 2 penalties on this first play if Larry doesn't get settled down.
Yeah, he's definitely not liking the explanation he's getting. He got called for a false start.
Now, one thing that has been talked about in this league, if you look at the strict high school rules, when you're in a shotgun formation, the feet of the shotgun, or the back-end shotgun, whether that be a quarterback or another back, are supposed to be at 3 yards. By the high school rule. Now, if they're going to decide to call this here in the Super Bowl after having run this offense every week of the year, I'm going to be in the same boat that Coach Pankey's in right now, and they're probably going to have to drag me out of here.
Yeah, you can't, Maybe we can get Nate Hallbrooks to give us some sideline reporting here, if we can get a hold of him to find out exactly. We have definitely got a hubbub going on here.
I did hear a call a minute ago here in the press box. They were asking for Glenn Stewart, the head of the Officials Association, to come down to the field. So there's going to be something that's going to be a real big conversation here coming up. And, Jeff, I know it won't be a problem. We'll fill the airwaves with our thoughts.
We will be able to take care of this.
Looks like we have a little.
Go.
It's being. Can you hear me? What do you need me to do?
Keep talking.
Just
tell us what's going on.
Go over there to hear the.
Yes.
It's a challenge of the rule about the backs being too close to the center.
Okay, that's what we.
So
you have to be in Georgia high school rules. You have to be more than a yard or more from the center.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a yard or more, and they're not when they're in this. When they're in this formation, Jeff, the hands of the 3 upbacks are almost touching the centers.
Okay.
So that's.
But again, like you said, if we haven't been calling them out on this all year long, it's hard to make them adjust in the last game of the season.
It is. Now, this is not all Atlanta can do. They do run a power eye set. It's obviously not what their strength is. They can't just line up and play a team that's got a huge speed advantage.
Yeah.
In a more traditional offense, this is what they do. Me personally, I've got a problem with this if we've just decided to call this in week number 13.
And, you got to wonder now. We've got some veterans on the other side of that field. You almost wonder if maybe they didn't plant the seed a little bit.
You better believe that's probably what happened.
I know I would have. If I would take every advantage I could get in a game like this for all the marbles.
So we've got several
Looks like
huddles.
Glenn is officially down here, and they're going to make a ruling on this situation.
Okay, we just heard from Nate.
That's nice having a sideline reporter that's right there in the middle. We got several huddles going on. You got a huddle of officials. That's more striped shirts than I've seen together in a while. And now Kevin Baker, the commission chairman for the NWGYFL, has joined that huddle. And then you got another little huddle off to the side of red jackets. The rest of the league officials over here, they're going to weigh in with their opinions. Now, nobody in the striped shirt asked a single one of our opinions.
No.
But I promise you they're being added.
We will not lack for opinions here. And speaking of the red jackets, you definitely are not hiding with these red jackets.
Give me a thumbs up if y'all heard all that on the coin toss. Y'all get all the coin toss?
No, not the coin toss.
See your thumbs. Are they up or down? Are they down or up? Are they going down? No coin toss stuff?
No.
Oh, that's sad.
Sounds like we were trying to announce the coin toss, but it didn't get broadcast. So, Jim, let's go back to some of the little background on our NWGYFL and the playing rules. We do play 10-minute quarters, 4 of those.
Traditional. Well, what we play by is Georgia high school rules as they are amended by our league bylaws. Most of our amendments are not playing rules per se. They're participation rules. The fields are set up the same. We're playing
Correct
on
me if I'm wrong, but by Georgia, you can't have artificial noisemakers. Am I correct?
That is correct.
And I hear a bunch of what they call Zuzu Zalus or something like that.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yes. We'll trade your vuvuzelas for an illegal formation and call it good.
Yes. The Colts are staying loose on the sideline here. But, again, we play by GHSA rules, modified for as you said, for participation's sake.
Participation, a couple of things revolving around the kicking game, especially the younger age groups. But it's pretty well. If you look
You
at
want me to interview Michael? Give me a thumbs up if you want me to interview Michael down here on the sidelines. I don't know if I think that's a down. They're saying no to Michael Gregory.
But
I don't hear Michael speak.
It looks like, I mean, when we play, it is basically by the playing rules. The first down through fourth down rules of the game are basically the Georgia High School Association.
And we can kick. We can kick for 2. We can run for 2. I mean, pass for 2.
On a field with goalposts. Jeff's exactly. The field goal is an option at this level.
Yes.
They can kick a traditional 3-point field goal. For the point after a touchdown, the untimed down following a touchdown for the extra point, if you run the ball in, it's 1 point. If you throw the ball, it's 2 points. If you kick the ball, it's also 2 points.
And we will see at this 11 and 12-year-old age group plenty of teams that will kick for their extra points.
You will see this Atlanta team do it every time they score.
Yeah, and that seemed to be the difference the first time they played.
I think it was.
Did 25 look up in the booth as quick up there as he was down?
Yes, 25. It was
monsters down here on this field. A lot of 6-foot-tall kids.
Yeah,
there's a big kids down here.
I wish we had a way to communicate with Nate. Little logistical issue there trying to get through when Nate talks. I'm
probably not the prettiest sideline reporter you've ever had.
No, you're not Hannah Storm. Not Hannah Storm, but you're doing a fine job, Mr. Hallbrook.
If he's Hannah Storm, it's that super cyclone that went through the Pacific not a couple of weeks ago. That is a large sideline reporter. And our sideline cameraman, not any smaller.
No, that is some tonnage down there. There is some tonnage.
Well, I'm looking at, you got one team here on the field jumping around trying to stay loose. You got the Atlanta Colts doing synchronized jumping jacks on their sidelines. Two completely different approaches.
Now we got push-ups going on with Douglasville. But back to
looks like the delay in the action is going to continue for a little while. Let's play some music, please, or something.
No, let's not play anymore. I've heard enough of the sound system here at North Cobb High School to last me a lifetime.
Nobody let the dogs out, please.
The dogs got loose in about 1989, and we still not figured out who let them out.
Let's give a little recap. Our Super Bowl earlier in the day, we had the 6-year-old Rockmart Yellow Jackets playing the Ackworth Warriors, and that game was won by the Ackworth Warriors. Mr. Jeff Albright won. Did we figure that was his 10th?
There's a debate. We know it's 9. We know it's 9 in a row, and possibly his 10th in a row. And this is not a guy that follows a team, grabs a team at 6 years old, and rides them all the way through and just gets win after win after win. He's been coaching either 6-year-olds or 5 and 6 combined when we used to do it that way in this league. He was coaching that age group when I got to Ackworth in 1987, and it wasn't his first year then. So he's been doing this for a long time. What an impressive feat. That just blows me away.
It's a testament to how well he prepares teams. How I think that he understands what it takes to be successful at that particular age group, as well as any coach in any sport understands how to be successful in his specific group.
And that's too young for me. That's a group of kids I don't feel like I could reach as 6-year-olds. I don't think my style of coaching would play very well at that level. I've not had a one-on-one conversation with Jeff Albright in years. I wonder if he talks like a 6-year-old now. I wonder if he's kind of become a 6-year-old.
Now, I've seen him on the sidelines and warming up before games, and I'm impressed at how almost military style he has those kids drilled and how just utterly zoned in he can get a 6-year-old and how focused he can get a 6-year-old kid to be. I think what he does is he believes in those kids, and he doesn't assume they can't do something.
I think you're right. Well, we've had one huddle breakup. The huddle between the officials and the Atlanta coaching staff is broken up.
I think they have a ruling, but I have no clue what it is. Should I go find out?
Nate's right. We do have a ruling, and I can read by the body language.
Does not go
Douglasville
in
doesn't
Douglasville's
like.
favor.
No, they don't like the ruling. There's a lot of gesticulating and hand waving going on down on the field. And really, Jeff, it's hard to say, and I don't want to sound like I'm straddling a fence here, but both sides are kind of right here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
technically
because the
against
rule
the
is the
rules,
rule.
but Larry's first motion was to hold up one finger, and I can tell you from here, he said this is the first time that's been called all year.
Yeah.
So on both sides of that, there's some right on both sides of it.
Yeah, because Charles's argument or Douglasville's argument could be that I don't care if it is the first time this year. The rule is the rule, and it's not my fault somebody didn't enforce it before.
I can't answer for 12 weeks of somebody not doing their job.
Exactly, yeah.
You weren't accidentally hearing all the ref talk, are you?
No.
I didn't turn the mic on by accident, did I? Okay, good.
So going back to recap.
I'm loving the little hand motion.
Mr. Albright won his,
tell me I'm number 1?
9th or 10th Super Bowl in a row. And then his son James
lost a heartbreaker.
Might be excommunicated from the family for the loss.
Lost a heartbreaker, down 13-7 late in the game inside the Kennesaw Mountain 10-yard line, and could not punch it in to tie or take the lead in the game. So Kennesaw Mountain won that one. That takes us to our 8-year-old age group.
And I'm going to tell you what, that I have to give a shout-out to Adrian Fitz, the Kennesaw Mountain 8-year-old, the coach of the 8-year-old Kennesaw Mountain team. Adrian lost his whole starting backfield and 2 backups and still managed to get all the way back to the Super Bowl.
They are waving the penalty off.
Wow.
They are waving the penalty off.
This is going to be interesting. This is going to cause some fireworks.
And that just brings some more intensity to this game. Obviously, Douglasville, having won the Super Bowl last year, very, very successful in their 11- and 12-year-old program.
Safe to say they kind of maybe thought that they could have just mailed this one in this year.
I think that might have been a lot of the thought. I don't, you hate to think somebody thought that way.
Well, here we go. We're back to the action. They're in the tight wedge. Oh, it looks like we got an encroachment on the defense.
Now, their quarterback does a great job of that. I can tell you from field level, their quarterback has a great hard count that he doesn't bob his head, nothing to get called for a penalty, but he has a very hard cadence when they go on a long count.
That is getting to be a lost art in youth football with all the spread offenses and everything that's the no huddle. It's amazing how you can keep a team off balance with just a change in the cadence.
Now, Jeff, I want you to get a look at this now that you got a better look at this offense. There's bodies going everywhere.
Yeah, I can't tell who's got the ball.
It went right up the gut, right behind number 74.
And I'll be honest, 40 years of playing and watching and coaching football, I did not know where that football was right there, Jim.
That was number 34, Jack Hogan, on a carry right up the middle. 34 is the back that they usually run right up the middle. He gets a direct snap, tucks behind big number 74,
so that
which is Tyler Welch.
Is a huge young man.
My son, Colby, drew the task on our defense of trying to cut him for the better part of a day. Colby goes about 120 pounds.
Oh.
And he was not a very happy child on the ride back from Dunwoody that day. He was beat senseless.
And I believe Mr. Welch weighed in at about 209, if my memory serves me correct.
He was 220 plus.
Yes, you're right. Now watch how he will block till the whistle blows as well.
Sweep around the left side with number 25. 25 is very, very quick. He's quicker than he is fast, but he does have some speed in the open field, as you saw on the opening play.
I'm having a hard time spotting the Douglasville Tiger Cubs that are making the tackles. So just don't. If you're listening at home and you're a Tiger Cub fan, bear with us. We will start calling out the numbers of who's making those tackles.
That color scheme, that gold number on that blue jersey, I don't know if it's just the windows here. It's just hard to see. And again, there's a good example right there of the play. You got people tackling in the middle. You got a corner following a kid out the left-hand side, and 2 kids following the quarterback as he rolled around the right.
Rolled to the right. Yes.
You've got to give up so much in the middle of the field
in order to protect the edges.
To protect the outside.
Yep, that's true.
They brought everybody in the box, and then when the ball snapped and bodies start slinging in every direction, you got to protect all of it.
I think the key in this, in my opinion, is the discipline that your defense has to understand I have to stay home. Until if I'm the outside linebacker on the right, I cannot be moving to the left until I figure out where the football is.
This is a different. Now, what they'd like to do here, 34, they're going to throw the ball to 34, who's the inside receiver on the left-hand side. And I was wrong. They didn't do that all year long.
That was an attempted pass to looks like number 32 or 82.
82, Tyler Fields was the intended receiver there. Now, normally what they do when they split number 34 out wide, up in week 6 when we played them, we had 4 films on him. It was 100% pass to number 34 when they split him out wide.
Okay. Let's take a minute. Look at big number. Is that number 88 on the Douglasville defensive line, Sean Paradise?
Sean Paradise is one of those outside linebackers, and I'm going to tell you something. Do not run to his side.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to. And on the other end, it looks like you got the bookend is number 50, he was another 230-pounder, but looked like he was athletic. And unfortunately, we don't have his name on here because we don't have a 50. There was Jameel, and I don't know if it was – I think it was Askins. He's listed on our roster as 55, but I believe he is number 50. There's a pass to number 82. Oh,
flea
the
flicker.
hook and ladder. Hook and ladder back to – wow, nice play.
It's so I am an old-school football guy. I'm a line it up and run it at you type of football guy. The spread, even though my team's in the spread now, it's just what we have to do with the type of kid that we have. This Atlanta team's kind of fun to watch because they're going to throw in trick plays. They're going to run this funky little offense. It's just neat to watch. Not a bad job of discipline-wise of Douglasville not getting sucked up to the hook and ladder there and losing one down the sidelines. Pretty good discipline there from Douglasville.
You got to be impressed with Larry Pankey's play calling so far, but you know you got to give the man credit. No, he's got some intelligence. He didn't get a law degree for being a dummy.
I believe we just had a sideline warning there on the Atlanta sidelines. We had a flag dropped and the officials motioned over toward the sidelines. I think they got inside the 25-yard coach's box. See if we can get an indicator from the official. He's still trying to tuck his flag back in.
Yeah, I think you're correct because Larry looks like he's chastising one of his assistants.
Yeah, no penalty marked off. So that was a sideline warning on Atlanta. The next one will be a 15-yard penalty. Power sweep with number 25.
Number 25, Jeffrey Powell. Oh,
he fumbled the ball.
He fumbled the ball. It's loose. It looks like.
It looks like both teams are pointing that they have the ball. There's no telling who's coming out of the bottom of the pile with this.
Let's see if the referees give us what down it is or an arm signal. Okay, it's Atlanta's ball on about the
first and goal and about the 2 1/4
line. Yes.
What a fortunate turn of events there for Atlanta. Lose the football and have it wound up bouncing right back to
him. And Jim, going back real quick before the next play. Well, here is the next play.
Up the middle,
like
he's in. He's got to be in.
Yeah, he's punched that.
The whole pile's 3 yards deep in the end zone. He had to be in.
Can you tell who had that?
I don't. I played him in week 6, and I still don't know who had the ball.
No, that was number 34. Number 34. Is that
34? It's Jack Hogan.
Okay.
Jack Hogan, whose dad's name came in and introduced himself in a way and said, "This is Ben Hogan." He didn't look a thing in the world like Ben Hogan.
Nothing like Ben Hogan. Well, we were talking about the 8-year-old Super Bowl, and we were giving the props to Adrian Fitz from Kennesaw.
Here we go. This ought to be entertaining. Here's going to be an extra point kick right here, Jeff.
Okay, this should be, and this is for 2. If we make this, it'll be a 2-point conversion.
Just like high school, we're allowed to use the 1-inch block. And we're going to get a flag probably lined up in the neutral zone on the defense, and that's what it's going to be.
Exactly half the distance, so we'll be at the 1.5. Going back, Mr. Fitz lost that starting backfield, two backups, but was able to make it back to the Super Bowl today, but he just didn't have enough for Mr. Nate Hallbrooks' 8-year-old Ackworth team.
Hats off to Adrian for getting his team in the Super Bowl. And if
nobody expected it.
And that's just, if that's the team that won on the other side of that bracket, Nate's obviously got a very, very good football team because it was not a very close. Kicks up, and it is good. So it's going to be 8-0.
8-0 Colts. No, Nate's team was the better team today on the field, but even Nate would take his hat off to Adrian and the fact that he was able to bring a team that was pretty much, lost probably his 3 best players, a whole starting backfield, and to make it this far was a testament that he was one of our coaches, D1 coaches of the year last year.
And just a testament to Coach sticking with it, believing in his kids and building around what he had back. It's easy at that state to sit down and cry about what you lost.
And just give in and let that trickle down to the kids.
You pick up the pieces and go play football. 9-year-olds, another big win for
Coach Derek Allen and his 9-year-old Ackworth Warriors.
That was a very good, a good ball game.
It was, and I think some people might say that and it's happened in the past that the game between Ackworth and Smyrna last week, might have been the matchup that people were looking for, but I don't think you can ever underestimate that Hiram team. And how disappointing is it for Hiram? In the sense of,
what a bounce on the onside kick, and Atlanta's going to recover it.
Got the recovery.
What a beautifully executed onside kick by the Atlanta Colts. It bounced right over the man on the front line.
Yep. But getting back to that Hiram team, they don't have anything to hang their heads about.
No, they
Super Bowl runners up at 7, at 8, and again at 9 to the same football team.
You can't take away from that football team. 3 different coaches they've gone to the Super Bowl under, so a very talented group of kids. Unfortunately, the results have been the same all 3 years. Well, they've lost Ackworth in the Super Bowl.
Which they've lost to me, in my opinion, Jim, they've lost to a team that is, if we had a pound-for-pound champion,
That's got to be them.
Yes.
That's the team that hadn't lost
ever.
They've lost 2 games.
And those were
both of
in
these born
BCS,
to compete
yes.
championship games, and total they've lost by 3 points total in those 2 games.
This is a team that has never been beaten by another NWGYFL team since they were 5.
Back in the wedge.
I have no clue who's going to get the ball here.
Still don't, do you?
No, I think it was a dive up the middle.
Now, be an 11 and 12-year-old kid, Jeff. Both of us have been around this game for a long time, been coaching for a long time. If we're having trouble from up here in the press box with every advantage of seeing who's got the ball, put yourself in that Mike linebacker's shoes and trying to make a diagnosis of where the ball is.
I think at this point I'm telling my kids, these are the numbers of the kids that could be getting the ball, and every one of them tackled.
Tackle everything that moves.
Everything that could be a ball carrier needs to be tackled, because I have a vantage point from up here. Both of us have a vantage point that's much better than what the kids have on the field, and from up here I have no clue. Now that's number 25, Jeffrey Powell, direct snap. I tell you what, Jim, I am really impressed by the quickness with which Powell hits the hole.
Atlanta's not a small football team. They may look that way on camera because Douglasville is a lot bigger than they are, but that is a small, aggressive offensive line. They're first down after first down running the football. Their offensive line's getting the job done, and that is an extremely good front from Douglasville. I know we didn't handle them at all. My kids played their guts out when we played Douglasville. We were at a 7-0 ball game, Douglasville leading at the half, and that was all my kids had. They're just so good up front.
Yeah, they're big. But it's got to be frustrating to be on that field and not know who's handling the football. But I am really impressed with Powell and how quickly he hits the hole.
Power sweep back to this side.
Looks like Powell again to the right. Oh,
got it. Somebody
wow,
did
he get lit.
A corner of the shoulder pad, turned him around. He took a lick.
That looked like number 44 on the tackle for Douglasville, Isaiah Ratcliffe.
Ratcliffe is their free safety. He comes up in a hurry.
Man.
When he sees it's a running play, you better be ready to get hit because he's coming to strike a lick.
Yeah, he came up. That's how you feel as a safety.
And both of these teams beat us this year. We were undermanned. My kids had a lot of heart, had a lot of fight. We were outmatched most weeks that we played. It's hard to explain what play of this Douglasville team is like. They are so good, so athletic. When you game plan, you look for a weak spot. Well, it certainly is hard to find one with this Douglasville team.
Yeah, and I'm sure they've since that week win loss, they've been looking to get back to this point in time, and knowing that group of coaches over there, they have probably spent a ton of time watching film, trying to determine what little edge they might be able to gain.
You're
playing
looking,
this team.
as a coach breaking down film, you're looking for anything. Is a back lined up differently when they run the sweep versus when they run the middle play? You're looking for.
Is he peeking? Is he peeking to the left or the right overly?
You're even looking at knuckles. Does he have all his weight forward? Is it balanced? You're looking for anything you can find. And I promise you, both of these teams probably have 8 or 9 films on one another by this point in the season.
There's no secrets at this point.
No.
Yeah.
You don't hide anything on the last play of the playbook here. It's already been seen. You might as well run it tonight. And
I know you said this earlier, and I'm going to go back to it. But again, we are grown men with over 40 years each of coaching and playing experience, and we're confused by this offense. Put yourself in the shoes of an 11 or 12 or 13-year-old kid without this vantage point. I just the fact that they have not just run through them like a hot knife through butter is impressive to me for Douglasville.
Now, during this penalty, Jeff, I do want to make a point of calling something out here. We've left off one game that has been completed so far of these Super Bowls, and that is the 10-year-old age group.
And that 10-year-old team that won that was from what park?
Well, they were from Hiram. That is a long overdue Super Bowl win for that team. They have been so close since the age of 6 years old, that they finally got on that win tonight, 13-7 over Ackworth. Very well played ball game, well coached ball game. But congratulations to Lester Ben and those kids who have fought. Again, that's another team with a brand new coach.
Yes,
the team is pretty much the same, but Coach Ben's a very good football coach, and gave them that last little kick. I've seen a work ethic out of that team that I've not seen in years past, and just proud today. I'm just tickled to death for those kids and proud of them. Proud for them.
That last tackle was made by Mr. Paradise, who came from the left defensive end position all the way around the right side to make that tackle.
And it won't be the last time he does that tonight, Jeff. That's what they're not going to be able to do. Atlanta needs to get that out of their playbook right now. You are not going to drop back and throw the ball on this Douglasville team with that pressure off the outside linebacker. That was Paradise again.
No, and Askins. Paradise and Jamal Askins looked like he got shot out of a cannon coming off that right end. He looked like
you guys
LC.
having fun up in the booth?
We are enjoying it down here.
That is a huddle of red jackets
If they,
here at the 40-yard line.
they either going to do the funky little field goal punt right here, or that's what they do.
Yeah, they're
Let's
not
see
going to
what
punt
they're
the ball. At any point in time, 4th and 40 on their own 2-yard line, they're not punting. Not in the
Here we
traditional
go.
sense.
Oh, it's the Statue of Liberty to Powell. Uh-oh, he's busted loose. Oh, wow, what a collision. Number 3 for Douglasville, Justin Jones, came up and laid the wood to Mr. Powell, who
Jones
just
and Ratliff, he popped right. I don't know that the two Douglasville kids didn't hit each other more than they did Powell, but that was a collision all the way around. So you talk about not hiding anything in your playbook. We've had the hook and ladder, we've had the Statue of Liberty, we've had an extra point kicked. Not really any secrets at this. You're emptying it out.
Exactly, because you don't.
That's a little bit of a staggers after that hit.
Yeah. I think all 3 of those players were staggering after that hit, Nate.
That was a collision with barely one window open in this press box. You clearly heard that hit all the way up here. That was one of those infamous woo licks.
Ooh, from
as
the
soon as the
sidelines.
contact is made, both sides go, ooh.
Looks like we're running a. Boy, there's
Power eye.
corners
Looks
in
like
tight.
the power eye.
The defensive alignment is almost a 5-3 with their corners pulled in as tight as I've ever seen corners pulled in. And that play got Douglasville about a yard.
Douglasville loves to run the counter. They love to run some misdirection, and you're going to find that Atlanta will stay home very well during those plays. This is a very, very disciplined football team. For what? And I don't want this to come across like Atlanta lacks talent, because they don't. But there is an athletic disadvantage to Atlanta on this field right now, and anybody can see it that's been around this game.
But they make up for it with their smarts.
Their
right
discipline keeps them in ball game. You're not going to fool this team.
Right. I'm trying to get a number on that the ball carrier there for.
That's Big 88.
Big
the deep
88.
back. That's Mr. Paradise. Again, going to be the first back through.
Oh, wow, he is.
Big hole there,
That's
number
number
3.
three.
Justin
Jones looks
is
like
loose, and he's going to take it all the way. No flags, clean
No
field.
flags.
I just noticed something there on the back end of this play. I don't know if we swapped the cameras or whether we did anything on that play. Once the play broke the line of scrimmage, if you look back upfield, every one of Douglasville's players that were not involved in a play are on a knee back here to not get one of those stupid
penalties.
Blocking the back penalties 45 yards
Yes.
behind the play that should have never happened. So great coaching point there from Douglasville to get those kids to hit a knee and let the play happen.
But, Jim, here's where they're almost forced to go for 2, and it doesn't look to me like they have a kicking game.
They're going to have to throw the ball here.
Yep.
Now, as a defense coordinator, that makes life a lot easier when you can narrow the scope of plays that's going to be run, and you know that they've got to throw the football here to tie the ball game up. It really
huge advantage.
Really makes it what you have to do defensively a lot easier.
You know, this is where you would hope that Douglasville has maybe just a little shovel pass, that just something simple, because just a simple forward flip would constitute a forward pass.
Too tight formation, power eye.
Power eye.
Power eye right.
Maybe something to the tight end dragging across on a roll. There's the roll.
Gonna get an illegal motion call. Doesn't matter what happens here. He gets in number 7 on the carry there for Douglasville. That is Marquise Collins. And that's going to go for nothing because you're going to have an illegal motion. The power back offset to the right had a little stumble, lost his balance right before the play. Funny thing was he stumbled forward going the opposite direction of
the play. Yeah.
So this is going to
Anybody else see the random dude come walking onto the sidelines? Did y'all see that as well? No? Wow.
We have no it's one-way communications with our sideline.
What hand motion is that? You tell me
talk.
We can't talk to Nate. We can hear him through his microphone. So if he just randomly drops in on top of us, we have no way to communicate with him. Tim Banks, who's somewhere in this ballpark, the 11 and 12-year-old coach from Ackworth, is blowing my cell phone up for some reason.
Oh, I wonder how he's liking our broadcast. So here we go. It looks like we're in a spread formation, number 7. Well, it looks like he was intended to pass for number 44.
Isaiah Ratcliffe, the safety from defense, was out in the slot right there, just trying to take advantage of a height situation, and just thrown a little bit out of his reach there.
Looks like Sutley is our sideline camera reporter is maybe losing track of what he's doing. And, you know, Jim, I can't reiterate how much of what pressure this puts on the Tiger Cubs right now. Because, I mean, if every touchdown that gets scored, you're behind 2 points, you know, trading 3 touchdowns apiece, you're all of a sudden down by a touchdown.
Yes. And what a different position for Douglasville to be in. They've kind of owned this age group
yes.
for the last several years, been the dominant program. And now to have a new kid on the block, so to speak, challenging you for supremacy in 11 and 12, that's a tough position
This
to be
is like
in.
the kid that moved into the neighborhood and you thought you were the boy dog, and all of a sudden he came over and pushed you off the snow.
Kevin apparently is going to come mess with y'all. I don't know what mess with y'all means, but he's going to come up there.
Yeah, I hope Kevin Baker does come up here and mess with us. Somebody's leaving this room with their feelings hurt if he comes up here.
Speaking of Kevin Baker, I think he did. We were all got here. You know, we're trying to get here about 6:30 this morning. And I think Kevin did roll in about 8:30.
Well, you know, as the chairman, it's be on time or come in whenever you want to. You get to make those rules.
Yes. And we'll have a little something for Kevin when he comes up here. And just kind of like this morning, Kevin gets here when he feels like it.
Random request for outlets coming from the window. Somebody needs something.
I think he was making sure that the camera was plugged in.
Yeah, we were filming the turf while ago.
And here we go. Again, there's Mr. Powell around the right side.
Good pursuit by the – now you've got it looks like Douglasville's diagnosing that sweep a little bit better. They're coming to that sweep.
Yes, they're seeing it.
To me, of their 2 plays, the sweep is the easier play to see while you're on the field than that little up-the-middle thing is.
Up the middle back, yep. But what I've also noticed, and I'm wondering how it's going to affect Douglasville later, is that I've noticed a couple kids getting out of position on that sweep, which if Larry stays true to form that he's done so far, he's probably recognized that well and has something to make the kid pay for not being disciplined. Here we go, a little end around to the right.
That's Jack Hogan there on the carry, just a different formation. Same play, basically, power sweep. Hogan picks up about 2 yards, and he's brought to an abrupt stop.
Big number.
Wow.
And when I say big, number 99, Jordan. No, I'm sorry.
98.
Well, again, we don't have a number. That's Christian Garcia, I believe, even though it says 91 on our sheet.
Apparently we've had some number changes throughout the course of the season.
But that 99 is definitely Garcia, because I remember Charles telling me his name before the game. And that is one large young man.
And he's not one of those kids that just eats a gap up. He can move.
Now here we go back into the
little confusion on formation here for Atlanta. Now going to call the play from the sidelines.
Flip-flop. He's trying to get he's trying to get his 2 running backs. Kind of a split back shotgun. Well, we've got Laundry on the field, and that pass didn't seem to be anywhere near. I think it was a little miscommunication.
Illegal formation again. They call him only 6 men on the line of scrimmage, going to get Atlanta for another illegal formation. Hopefully this one doesn't result in 10 minutes of stoppage time to discuss it.
I'm with you on that one, John. I think we had enough huddles.
Coach Larry Pickey does not look real pleased with his offense right this minute. They are I think they're getting a
tongue lashing, I think is what we call that.
I was trying to find a word for it.
Get a little help from our camera operator here.
Looked like he was giving his closing arguments out there to the
yes,
jury.
He was
in a case he really felt strongly about.
He definitely wanted a sidebar with the judge on that original ruling on the
they went to Chambers, I believe.
I think they did.
I do believe the consensus on the sidelines down here is that at halftime we're coming all up there because I'm tired of these horns.
Yeah,
we're about to lose our mind with these horns down
the
here.
The vuvuzelas are pretty obnoxious.
Maybe we could just make those disappear at halftime. I'm going to tell you what, number 50 is the one all over this football field.
That's the one we think is Jamil Askins.
That is Jamil. That is Jamil. There's 2 Jamils on the team.
Yeah, and they're back-to-back, 55 and 62.
It is Askins. I'm quite sure that is Jamil Askins.
If I'm not mistaken, the other Jamil Burrows is the young man I was talking to that's been at Douglasville for so many years. Short kid.
Yes.
Yeah, real short kid. I know he's been there since 6 years old. I remember playing him against him all these years. Tough little competitor.
Yeah, he's
not little. I'm sorry.
Not little by it. I don't think there was anybody on either one of these teams that could be considered little.
It's hard to look, Jeff, and being around this game for so long, to look at what 11 and 12-year-olds look like now compared to when we were growing up.
Oh, my goodness.
We couldn't even get on the field with these kids.
No.
These were high school kids when we were growing up. Another
and
flag.
who's in on that tackle again?
Guess who?
Number 50, Jameel Askins. You know, it reminds me last year we did the 11 and 12-year-old game, Jim, and remember there was a boy from Marietta that dominated the football game on his
Yes, he did.
Number 44. I don't remember his name.
Can't remember his name.
But number 44, I'll never forget that number.
I bet he had to have 18 tackles on defense.
Easily. And I think I think you could double that and probably maybe still not have enough.
He was around the ball every snap of the ball game.
That boy came to play. Here we go, back to that tight wedge offense. That's a direct snap up the middle.
Look at that, just pushing forward right there.
Look at the wedge coming forward.
That's a play that just went for 4, 5, 6.5 yards that looked like it was dead at the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
Now, this is another place where Atlanta gets a little bit of benefit from the ruling. If you're telling me there's no aid in the runner going on in that pile, you're going to have to sell me on that one.
Yeah, I got some swampland for you if you believe that one, because somebody is getting helped along.
Been a lot of orange here today. We've had orange on the field every game.
Yeah, that's plenty more orange than. Here we go again. That's the end of the first quarter.
Okay, I was going to say there's no way they got that off before the quarter. Yeah. They are going to blow it dead.
We've got, at the end of one, we've got the Atlanta Colts 8 and the Douglasville Tiger Cubs, that was easier for me to say, 6.
Yeah, we've talked a lot tonight about Atlanta, Jeff, and what they've brought to this league, and it's, we're definitely not favoring Atlanta in this game by any stretch. It's just this is a new team. People are wanting to know a lot about them. There's been a lot of questions about them.
Yeah.
And they brought a lot of neat stuff. Obviously, there's an offense that you haven't seen.
In years.
I think you got to be a lot older than us to have seen this offense employed regularly.
My father might have ran. He's 74, and he might have ran this offense.
This is our only team in the league that has full sets of home and away uniforms. Obviously, a program that's in a very affluent area where they are in Dunwoody.
And been around for a lot of years.
Been around for a very, very long time. And I did just notice that they have a male cheerleading coach, which I think is a first to the NWGYFL here on our sidelines.
That's interesting. I kind of, I don't get speechless too often, but that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. And he seems to be a fairly large man.
He's not a dancer type. He's a pretty solid guy.
He doesn't seem light on his loafers or anything.
I'm not going to go down there and talk to him about being a cheerleading coach.
Not at all. Not at all. And thank goodness this is an internet broadcast, so when I say light in the loafers, I don't have to worry about the FCC or the FSA or whoever they are coming to get me.
Send your letters to the Northwest Georgia Youth Football League in care of Jeff Chandler on that one, please.
For all those listening at home, we're just playing. Please don't take anything we say as too seriously.
Nobody else does.
Looks like
Jeff, I'm going to tell you, we did this game last year, the 11 and 12-year-old game, that somehow – I still don't believe this story, but was deleted.
Yes,
before it was posted.
It was deleted before it was posted on the internet, and
I'm going to be severely pissed if this game gets deleted.
This one will not get deleted. So we've got the Atlanta Colts 3rd and 5 on their own 47-yard line.
Now we can watch the wedge going the other way, see if it makes any more sense.
Yeah. A direct snap to the up back, and
then something else happened.
Something happened, and it was a big pile at the line, and
you look up and it's now 4th and 4.
And folks, I really want you to understand, for you people that are just listening and not seeing the feed, how difficult it is to really know who gets the football in this offense. It is literally, Jim, impossible unless they run that sweep to see who has the ball.
What more people may be familiar with and what this offense closely resembles is the old Notre Dame box where they have the spin series and twirls and 4 backs going in 4 different directions. This is all happening within, obviously, as we saw to start the game, within a yard of the football.
You have 11 players bunched in, foot-to-foot clamps on the line. That was a nice little run there. Is that Hogan again on that one? No, that was Powell.
That was Powell
again. And he's carried the workload for these guys. And that was 4th and 4, and it looks like that was short. So we're going to turn the ball over on downs, and we'll get to see that Douglasville offense again.
And let me beat the dead horse again. I know you're thinking, wow, tight ball game, it's hard to go for it right there at midfield. This Atlanta team does not punt.
No.
It's not that they can. I'm sure they can. They don't.
They just choose not to.
They don't.
Which surprises me. They have a kicking game. They kick extra points, and generally if you've spent that much time, you've probably spent time to work on the rest of your special teams.
They have goalposts there at Atlanta's home field. I got to go over there this year, treated first class. It's just a first-class way to be treated as a visiting coach over there. makes the tail whip and I towed it home a whole lot easier to carry. But I've always thought we don't have goalposts at most of our parks in this league, and I've always thought that to be a little bit of a waste of time working on kicking extra points. But if you got some kids that can do it, what a better place to pay off right here than in a Super Bowl game where you could get in a shootout. And the way that kid kicked, that's a guaranteed 2 points.
That's a guaranteed point. That's right. That's right. And, I remember speaking of the kicking game about 3 years ago, Stanley Hallbrooks and Jim Horgan had a 9-year-old team playing a Mount Carmel team that the final score of the game was 2-0, and Ackworth won. And it was basically because of the punting of the Ackworth punter. They continually kept pinning Mount Carmel deeper and deeper and deeper until finally they pinned him down to about the 2-yard line, and Ackworth was able to get a safety off of it, which was the only score of the game.
That makes a great point right there, Jeff. We do not at this level. High school coaches do. They take it very seriously. College coaches obviously do. Special teams, even though they're not on the field for as many snaps, they're a third of this game. Offense, defense, special teams. You better spend some time on punting the football at 9 and above at this level. You better be able to, in a critical situation, to snap the ball, catch the snap, and get the kickoff, and then cover it.
And if you'll indulge me for a minute, from my own personal standpoint, I coached at Blackwell this year on the 9-year-old team. We played Mount Carmel, won the game 24-6, and didn't score an offensive touchdown.
Wow. All on special
punt return,
teams.
Kick return, an interception return, and then another kick return. So one of us had worked on some special teams. Here we go. Douglasville at the line.
Collision in the backfield.
Collision in the backfield. And, Jim, I can tell you, that is my pet peeve as an offensive guy. That was completely and utterly, in my opinion, the back's fault.
See, I'm a defensive guy, and I love it.
He did not run to the hole. He ran to where the quarterback was.
Yep.
And that every time you see that collision the way it happened, it was the back not running to the hole. He was running to the quarterback.
And I promise you that Douglasville coaching staff is eating a running back alive right now because they are preaching the same thing. They are taught to run directly to the hole. I know they're coached that way.
Quarterback's responsibility to get the ball out there. If it's a stretch play and he doesn't get it there, that's on the quarterback, not the back.
Well, and you tell your quarterbacks, that's a self-teaching lesson. Don't get out there with the ball and you hold on to it and watch what happens.
Exactly.
That little brown thing attracts a crowd.
Here we go again in our power eye. Up back. That's what they scored on the last time that the Colt defense kind of tightened up there.
Well, Atlanta does make good adjustments. We played them. We came out, got the ball. They got the ball first. Went on a pretty decent drive, about 8-play drive. Had to convert 2 fourth downs before they finally scored. We scored on our first offensive play by running a little tunnel screen. And I can tell you, we didn't run that tunnel screen for positive yardage the rest of the day. They make great adjustments.
So they understand. They are very, very disciplined and intelligent kids that sound like that you fool me once, but not twice.
Douglasville, I won't say Douglasville made adjustments. They kept doing what they were doing, both sides of the ball. The
not
talent
to interrupt
just showed
Jim,
up.
but we got a key play here, 3rd and 3. Douglasville under center, power eye. Number 44, that's Isaiah.
All going to depend on the spot and where the side judge is standing on that side. He's got it by a yard.
Looks like looks like that's going to be a third. Let's see if the white hat's saying to move the chains yet.
Looking at it, if you're watching the game on TV, you'll notice a very rare occurrence here at the youth level. We are working with a 6 official crew for this game. I just now noticed that. We've got 6 officials on the field.
That is unusual. So we have we have a referee, we have an umpire, we have a linesman, we have a side judge.
Well, no, actually, what you got here, Jeff? Let me jump in here with my official hat on for a minute. You got a linesman and a line judge, and then you got a back judge and a field judge is what they call them in a 6-man rotation.
And then the umpire is directly behind the white
who looks like
hat.
he's playing strong safety.
Yes.
Again, give to the first back through. A little bit of a reverse of field there. Hole was clogged.
See if I can get that number. That was 55 for the Colts that made that tackle.
That was number 7 on the carry for Douglasville. Number 7 is Marquise Collins.
And 55 is Davis Brown from the Atlanta Colts who made that tackle. So Grandma and Grandpa, anybody listening at home, remember that they got their name mentioned on the radio.
Buy them a cookie next week.
So we got a 2nd and 8, it looks like, on the Atlanta 39-yard line.
I see our fearless leader didn't dare to stick around here very long.
No, but in the booth with us right now is Mr. Michael Gregory, president at New Hope Patriots. Let me say Patriots. I can't get used to saying Patriots after all those years at Eagles.
Did you ever change your screen name? Is it Eagle? Is still
Eagle M99?
That was never mind. That's somebody else.
Okay, well, it was a little run off the right tackle. Looks like it was good for about a 3 or 4 yard game. It'll bring up 3rd and 5 on the Colts 35-yard line.
Saw Glenn walk by. It would be, and I don't think Glenn will get on the microphone, but it would be good to get one of those officials that are sitting around and get their take on what that whole thing was at the first of the game. If one of them would get on the radio, I think that would be.
Here we go, 3rd and 5. This is a key play here. Douglasville coming up under center in the power I. And here we go. Here's the snap. Uh-oh. Number 3. Looks like the ball got loose. Looked like it squirted loose for a minute.
I don't know that it did. I never saw a beanbag come out from anybody to mark the spot of a possible change of possession.
Maybe it just looked like he lost the handle but didn't lose the ball.
Never lose the ball. It looked like it started popping loose, but I don't think
it
ever hit the ground. Huge play here. It's awful early in the ball game to say huge play, but 4th and 2.
4th and 2 at the 33.
Right at the 33.
You got to wonder if they're not going to try to draw him off sides. I don't know that I would be trying to think in that with as disciplined as the Colts have been so far. I don't think I'm going to bank on trying to get a first down with a cadence or a freeze play.
I think Douglasville's going to come out in power I and run it off one tackle to the other with Ratcliffe running the ball. That is a big back that you can pound it in there with.
And I'm telling you right now, I see number 50 on the up there on the line. I'm not so sure I wouldn't just go ahead and get right behind his big butt and tell him I need you, him or 98, either one.
Or 55 or 98. There's a whole lot of big linemen up there for Doug. You got kind of your choice of where to run the ball.
Yep, and Jim, it looks like Douglasville's like us, and they're trying to figure out what their best option is, so they go ahead and call a timeout here with 4 minutes and 33 seconds left in the first half. And remember, the score is Atlanta Colts 8, the Douglasville Tiger Cubs 6.
Good timeout by the Douglasville coaching staff. This is a big play. You really can't give the ball back to Atlanta and take the chance of going down 10 points here going into the half. So to take a timeout here, let's be sure of what we're doing before we get out there and run a play we really weren't confident in.
And Jim, while we've got a break in the action, I'm going to take a minute to list off the Tiger Cubs roster. I'm not going to include numbers because I don't know that these are all right. But so we have Derek Wise, Keyshawn Rush, Justin Jones, Warren Taylor, Denard Gray, Marquise Collins, Jabray Price, Nathaniel Green, Tariq Ham, Jamari Hester, Isaac DeWater, Nicholas Cullens, McKinson Pettit, Isaiah Ratcliffe, Jamel Askins, Jamel Burrows, Christian Lunsford, Kenneth Kraft, Kendrick McClendon, Sean Paradise, and Christian Garcia. And we'll get to your Atlanta Colts in just a minute.
Perfect timing.
Colts or Tiger Cubs line back up under center.
Unbalanced line in the eye. ISO
to the right side. Bounces off of one tackle. That's Ratcliffe.
Oh, great use of
a stiff arm by Ratcliffe. Holy cow. The Colts had him stopped
twice. Had him stopped twice.
I think the first time he might have been stopped at short of the first down. But that right there was hard. That was will. He was not going to get brought down.
Good ISO play. That is a big tailback, folks. You're going to do a whole lot of time.
Okay, we're gonna bring in Robbie Meeks into the booth for a minute to give us a little explanation on the ruling on the field on the.
Robbie's backed out. He doesn't know what the rules are when he's on the field, much less in the press box.
Robbie, can you give me the explanation? And I know what the GHSA rules say that in a shotgun formation, the up back must be at least a yard.
Okay, so it wasn't the 3 up backs. It's the wing back that they were calling for not being back clearly off the line of scrimmage.
Off the line of scrimmage,
Well, and just, I don't know if you were up there, Robbie, for the discussion, but was the discussion they haven't called this all year, was that? Okay.
Oh, the try for point was no good for Douglasville, so we have the score 12-8. So we have 4 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the first half. Tiger Cubs 12, the Colts 8. And, Jim, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's looking more and more like these extra points, as it was in the first game, could spell the difference in this football game by the time we get to the end of it.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask. Like you said earlier, for every 3 touchdowns, if you swap touchdown for touchdown for the rest of the night, if you do it 3 times, you're down a touchdown.
You're down a touchdown.
That's not good.
No, that's not good at all. I mean, I'm not great at math, but 3 for 4, that's a good deal if you're going to the grocery store.
If you're trading 3 to get 4, yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Douglasville lined up to kick off for the first time today.
Douglasville likes to onside kick.
And that one was kind of a pooch up in the air to the 30-yard line, taken there by number 25, Powell.
Powell is such a shifty little runner.
Oh, he is shifty. Look at that. Oh, he lost his footing after about a 10-yard game. He ran for about 25, but it was an 11-yard gain.
I think what these kids are finding, too, we're at a time of night where we're starting to get a little bit of moisture falling with this changing that weather. This turf gets very slick.
Yes, it does. But what a great surface to play on, Jim. Don't like it in the summertime when it's 110 degrees.
But kudos to Cobb County School Board for passing that special purpose local option sales tax to get every field in Cobb County with the synthetic surface on them.
Here we go. There's the direct snap. That
right
was to the up back. Look at the wedge. I mean, just continuing to push. There are Atlanta Colt linemen 12 yards downfield still trying to block.
And it's called the wedge simply because the offensive linemen do just that. They all step to the point of attack, whatever the hole's called. Every lineman on both sides of it is making a step to that, where they're like what was the movie? The Mighty Ducks. They're running the flying V.
The flying V. The basically shoulder to shoulder, high stepping down the field. And here we go back to the tight wedge. That's round to the left side. Looks like that's not Hogan. That's the first time he's carried the ball. Looks like number 20.
Number 20 from the Atlanta Colts is Jackson Warshaw.
Jackson Warshaw.
PA announcer had the same problem I did.
Yes. So it brings up a 3rd and a short 2 on the ball spotted about the Colts 49-yard line. They come up again into their tight wedge.
God, that's tight.
No, that is direct. I saw that one. That was to the up back. That was a direct up the middle to the up back, and kudos to that line. I mean, they are.
You always talk about the line being unsung heroes. Well, I think this offense is especially so. Those kids are taking a beating up front.
Yes.
You got a running back pushing on you from behind. You got Douglasville, his plan of attack is to cut them.
Cut them.
Those kids are taking a beating all game long. They're going to be some sore young men tomorrow.
Wow, a delay game on the offense. So that'll bring up 1st and 15.
How they didn't even huddle.
I don't understand it. How he called a delay game when
either somebody's watch is broke or I don't understand the delay of game rule because they moved the chains, got right on the ball,
and they never huddled. I don't think Larry likes to call. I think he's about as confused as the call as you and I are. All right, now there's the start of play at 2:54 that was about 3 minutes. So now they're up to the line. Tight wedge again, ball on about the 49.
Up back direct snap.
Looks like he got back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe, Jim?
You don't ever know where the play starts and ends in this offense.
And folks, I got to apologize again that we're not calling out numbers of the players right away carrying the ball, and very rarely are we seeing who's tackled because it is just a jumble of bodies wherever the tackle is made.
Trying to get them as you get them off the bottom of the pile, but we probably recognize kids that haven't made a tackle and just got swept up in the wave.
Yeah. Here we go, tight wedge again, 2nd and about 12. Powell to the left side. Looks like he's got some room. He's got the sideline. Somebody got pushed in the back, but it didn't get called.
Nice cut back at about the 15-yard line.
But, Jim, I'm going to tell you right now that number 44 got waylaid in the back, and it did not get.
You've got a flag on the 32-yard line.
And that's right about where I saw 44 go down. I'm going to see. Let's see if this is the call, but I'm telling you, 44, unless the Gremlins got him, he got shoved in the back, not pushed, shoved.
Really one of those.
And exactly what the call is, a block in the back.
Not
That's
anything really the kid did wrong necessarily. It's an impossible block to make, and the kid's passing you, and you make contact, and you're right in the middle of his back. Definitely not a dirty play by any stretch of the imagination. No, not by any stretch of the
imagination. But it was the right call, and it was easily seen from up here. And it doesn't, but again, it's not going to make the Colt fans happy. And I hear a little bit of booing and yelling from them, but, that's emotion. That's not That's not factual-based crying.
No, it was definitely a block in the back. I think the Douglasville sideline would be making the same noise if it didn't get called right now.
It looks like that's going to bring us up a 2nd and 6.
6.5, long 6.
Ball spotted on about the 42-yard line of the Tiger Cubs.
Jeff, one of the things I want to talk about at halftime, I don't want to bore everybody to death, but I think we need to spend some time talking about the changes to our playoff this year. You served on the playoff committee with me.
How y'all doing up in the booth right now, huh?
We're
good. I hope so.
We definitely want to bring that up because it has made for some very exciting playoff games. Very exciting.
Holy cow, with the changing going on the Atlanta side of the ball. I think everybody just changed positions.
Everybody did. And it's the snap to number 25, Powell, who got collared, I would say. That was, again, is that 44 again?
Yes, it was.
I'm going to tell you what. What is it about Super Bowls and number 44s?
I'm going to have a team full of 44 jerseys.
That was Isaiah Ratcliffe.
And that's coming a long way. He came from the 8-yard deep free safety position to make a tackle on a 2-yard gain.
That's an up-the-middle play again. And I'm telling you, at this point, Jim, there's plenty. Well, there's 1:31, so I can understand why he's having to try to go outside a little bit. But they're going to have to get to moving a little bit because they got a 1.5 minutes left.
Apparently, newsflash down here, Matt Shutley's nipples are hard.
Wow.
His nipples are hard.
We have an announcement from our sideline reporter, breaking news, that our sideline cameraman, Matt Shutley's nipples are hard. So that's probably nothing that needs to go over on the broadcast, but it just did, so forgive me. And, we have I've just lost my train of thought. I think we have a first down right here. Forgive us, folks. We're not a professionally paid broadcasting crew.
Well, if we would have been, we wouldn't have been right after that.
Should I ask him if his are too?
No, Nate was asking if he wants to take any more polls on.
We are aware it's cold. We'll just leave it alone at that. It's cold.
Colts snapped the ball. It looks like the direct snap up the middle again. Number 98 just literally manhandles the boy to the field.
One thing that I have noticed, and one of the, we got one of our officials back in the booth with us standing behind us, but one thing that I've noticed, come back here. I'm not going to make you get on the mic. I'm noticing very slow whistles. I've heard a couple of plays where there's not been a whistle blown.
I don't think the refs can see
It has got to be as hard to officiate in this kind of offense as it is to play defense against it. These guys are trying to look out for the safety of the players and rules violations, and if you don't know where the ball is, that takes their eye off of what they need to be looking at. So it's difficult all the way around.
I'm just going back and forth. 38 seconds left in the first half. It looks like we got a timeout by the Colts.
Maybe if they're on about the 14-yard line.
Ball on the 14.
About the 14-yard line?
Yes.
15? Okay, cool.
Breaking the action.
And
joining us in the booth
down here,
is
the too hard to do.
World-famous Randy K. Riggs. Randy coming and joining in our nipple conversation.
I've never been arrested in Kennesaw before.
I have never either.
No comment on what Matt just said down here.
I cannot believe Nate came up with that. They were worried about us, Jeff.
We have a camera operator today. As we're talking. Well, we can just leave that one right alone, I think.
But they were worried about us, Jeff. Everybody's concerned that we can't behave ourselves.
That we can't have a good
broadcast.
Well, I think that's very misguided to think that we could be up here and not stay rated G.
Two of the, I think, arguably more mature and level heads of our league.
Level heads, very calm.
I've never seen you raise your voice or spit food across a room in the middle of an argument.
Not opinionated at all, neither one of us. So I think that, I think they're very off base.
Right back up the middle again. Jack Hogan on the carry is going to pick up about 3 yards, and time's going to is really becoming a factor here.
Yes, and I 32. Wow, 2 seconds. I think somebody was slow to let the clock.
Here is a trick in the bag here for Atlanta, though. Let's beat on that dead horse, and let's walk back over and kick. Field goal's an option here.
That's true, because I watched that boy before. This is a chip shot from him. And folks, the ball's on about the 12 or 13-yard line.
They only go back about 5 yards in there. So if it's on the 12, 17, 27-yard field goal.
That
and
boy
that's within
has
his
plenty
range.
Plenty of leg for that. When's the last time you had a 12-11 ball game in a football game, Jim?
You're more likely to have that in an 11, 12-year-old baseball game.
There you go.
With everybody's third or fourth pitcher for the week in the game. You're an idiot to play baseball in this weather.
Oof. You know, my daughter plays softball, and, you know, those girls will play some tournaments in those shorts this time of year. And I'm going to tell you what, I have a son that's 18 that plays travel baseball, and there's no way any of the boys he played baseball with would ever play in this weather. But those girls will go out there and play 7 games back-to-back in weather like this.
We have exclusively travel baseball out of our park now on the baseball side of the Hiram Park. Those guys are out there in January practicing baseball. I love the game of baseball. I did not love the game of baseball that much.
Not in January. Not in January. Nothing like getting one off the handle in about a 32 degrees day. Oh, Lord. Not for me. Curious, I think the Colts are going to have to bring out something. You know, I wonder if maybe we'll go back to that Statue of Liberty or maybe the hook and ladder.
You know, if we've thrown the hook and ladder and the Statue of Liberty, there's got to be one more back down.
They got to have something
someplace
else in that trick bag. Here we go. Tight formation again. The wedge. That's to Powell, but he's got a seam. He got down to about the 5. We got a timeout for Colts. How much? We had 32 seconds when that play started.
Do we have a timeout, or we just stop the clock to move the chain? Okay, I see the Colts coming over the sideline. They must have called a timeout here.
25 seconds left in the first half. Looks like the ball will be spotted on about – we got a flag. Hold up for a second, folks. We got a flag.
Face mask. It'll be a 5-yard face mask against Douglasville.
That'll be half
the distance. So that was going to be half the distance. Ball's going to be about the 3.
Right there in that vicinity. Ball spotted on the left hash, the home side hash of about the
3.5.
3.5.
Good call. My math skills.
Well, you know, I got skills.
I was trying to get that least common denominator or something involved in fractions.
Well, I did my Fred Sanford. Carry the 2. There we go. Direct snap to the left.
Flag's coming, so this is
good. That's got to be an offensive penalty.
It's going to be an illegal formation
yes,
again.
It's got to be. Where that flag came from and how quickly it came.
Illegal formation.
It appears that the tight end was not set yet, if I'm correct.
There we go.
Yep.
From our sideline reporter, tight end never got set. Most mistakes I've seen Atlanta make in a game, as far as these little penalties go that they keep getting with formations and movements. Well, Mr. Pankey may go nuts here.
And fair to say, there's some pressure right here to score. Their back's against the wall with time. There's Powell on the left-hand side. He's touchdown. Wow. With 8 seconds left in the first half, Jeffrey Powell takes it over the left side for a touchdown for the Colts. That brings our score, the Atlanta Colts 14, Tiger Clubs 12, with the try for extra point coming. And I would say that's going to be a kick, Jim.
Yep, I believe it's going to be. Jeff, you a betting man?
I'm going to say that we just might see a 16-12 halftime score here.
I bet Atlanta don't kick it deep when they kick off.
I bet they. I think that's a safe assumption. Here we go. He's putting the block down. And who is our kicker, Jim? Can you see his number from here? Is that 5?
That's number 5, Chandler Sharp.
Chandler Sharp with a sharp. Oh,
and it got blocked.
No, it got blocked.
Got blocked, and the holder paid for it.
And that's still. But you know what, Jim?
14-12.
It's 14-12. They made 1 2-point conversion, and Douglasville has missed both theirs. And you know
that's the difference in the game right now. Give a shout out to our holder here who took a beating on that.
He got waylaid.
The scary thing is, though, that's your quarterback. That's Owen Graves that took that. That's one of your players when they get in their traditional offense that runs quarterback for them, holding extra points there. And I did that in high school. I held extra points and field goals in high school. And you take a beating down there, and it doesn't seem to ever get called.
No, and it's a position that has. It's kind of my son long snaps. A holder and a long snapper, you're never noticed until you screw up.
Yep.
You get no credit. You're supposed to do it, but when you don't do your job, there's a spotlight all over you.
And sometimes even a fraction off that a quarterback's got his eyes off of it, who's going to take the blame for it? It's going to be a bad snap on the center, just because the ball was loose on the ground. I could get you a young man on this microphone that has lived in my house for the last 11 years that could sing that song.
Here we go. The Colts line up with 8 seconds left in the first half.
We already had that bet. They do not keep the kick
Michael
deep.
Gregory back in the booth with us is in agreement with us that this will not be a deep kick. This should be some kind of poochy bouncing to the sideline, and it is indeed that. And it takes a nice bounce, but number 8 for the Tiger Cubs, that's Jabre Price.
Ooh, I believe they're right. The Atlanta fans are screaming down here that there were 12 men on the field for Douglasville, and I did a quick head count, and I think they may have been right.
Well, we'll never know at this point
Nope.
because the ball is being spotted on the Tiger Cub 43-yard line with, I don't know how we got to a 7 seconds because I don't know that he ever touched that ball.
He did. He touched it and carried it out of bounds.
Okay,
So
okay.
I think we're lucky to have gotten 1 second off the clock there because it was almost instantaneous. Catch it out of bounds. I wonder what the status of the middle school program is, what kind of middle school ball they have over where the Colts draw their players from. Because our league is really, really kind of – it's the haves and the have-nots across this league of those of us who fight a middle school program in our area offered by the schools, and those – like Douglas County doesn't do middle school. They have an 8th grade program in their schools.
And you've got to be a really good 7th grader to play on that team.
And these kids are primarily 6th and 7th graders.
And I saw a lot of the Colts players that were 7th graders.
So
Looks like Larry's trying to get a kid. He's trying to drop back into a 2-safety setup.
Quarterback draw.
Draw right up the middle, and he's got a seam. He's to the outside. He could go all the
25's on
way.
patrol.
Oh! Whoa! I'm going to tell you what. Jeffrey, was that Jeffrey Powell that just laid that wood? I'm going to tell you what.
Cow.
He cocked his arm back. That looked
That
like,
was in full stride.
I'm going to tell you what. If any of you folks out there are old enough to remember this name, you'll appreciate the hit. That was a Jack Tatum hit right there. That was number 32, the assassin, Jack Tatum.
I throw another name out at you, not quite so old. Scott Case.
Yes.
Played for the Atlanta Falcons. Meaner than a snake.
Yes.
He hit that kid on a dead run. Never broke stride.
And knew all the way. You watching his body language as he went to make that tackle. He knew what he was going to do.
Holy cow.
He sent a message right there. You are not scoring, son. You could take your butt to the sideline.
Yep. And I heard the horn, and this half's over right about now.
And by the way, I'm number 25. I'll see you in the second half.
Be right back.
Welcome to the Super Bowl. Jim, I think he hit him so hard that boy that got hit forgot his own number, but he will never forget number 25.
He'll never forget number 25. Give number 7 credit. He popped right back up.
And I'll
Didn't
tell you
bother
what,
him a lick.
That can be disheartening for the kid that laid the lick.
It can't, because you just brought everything in your arsenal with you, laid it out, and you think this kid's not getting up, and he's on his feet before you are.
And he's smiling at you. He gets up and he's smiling at you.
It's a motley crew of officials coming up the stairs here, isn't it?
That is a motley crew indeed. So, Jim, let's talk a little bit. You alluded to it earlier in the broadcast that we made some changes. When we made some changes to the playoff system, as I remember it in the past, we had 4 divisions. Region 1, 2, 3, and 4, with typically 5 teams per division as a rule of thumb. So 20 teams, and what would happen is they would get ranked 1 through 5 in each division. Top 4 from each division made the playoffs. So if I was a number 1 seed, I would play a number 4 seed from the region I was crossing into. Correct. I might have a 10-0 record as a number 1 seed, and typically, Jim, what would a 4 seed?
4 seed's probably a 3-7, 2-8 kind of football team.
So our first round playoff games were 10-0 versus 2-8, or 9-1 versus 0-10.
The committee looked when we did this, that first round playoff game under the old format, because you had a lot of those 1-4 games. You had 4 of those in every age group. Those 1-4 games. The average score of the first round of the playoffs was 40-6. That's not competitive football. That's not playoff football.
And I don't think that's also a positive end to a team's season. I think when you're trying to look for a feel-good feeling to go into next year, getting beat 40-6 does not leave a good taste in my mouth.
And this year, like we talked earlier about the haves and the have-nots at 11 and 12. We were a have-not. We fight a middle school program that's less than a mile from our park, where our kids are going to go to school. So my team, from the 10-year-old team I had last year that went 10-3 and was 2 plays away from the Super Bowl, 3 of those kids played back at our park this year. The rest of them were playing middle school ball. So I suffered through a 2-8 regular season this year with a bunch of new kids. Had 3 returners from last year's 11 and 12-year-old team, but a rough go of it. And I can tell you, I did not want to take those kids under the old format and go play a first-round playoff game and get beat 60-0.
You'll chase some kids away from the game. So what we did, Jim, is we revamped the playoff system.
We did.
Boy,
did we.
Wow, we did. I believe what we've done is we take the top 8 teams in each age group.
Yeah, at the end of the regular season, every team, and if there's 20 teams in a division, let's just use those numbers since Jeff used them for our region, regardless of what region they're in, they're put in order, top to bottom, of their win-loss record. The top 8 of those teams go to the playoffs. From there down, from number 9 down, We give teams a chance to end the season on a success by playing what we called consolation games. They're really a last regular season game. But so after the top 8 go to the playoffs, we'll talk about that in a moment. But 9 would play 10, 11 would play 12, all the way down
to 19 playing 20. So typically the 19 and 20 teams in the age group probably didn't win a game.
Probably not.
So here I have the opportunity as a winless team to go play possibly another winless or maybe one-win team and end in a competitive game. How much better can you get to end your season in a competitive game?
I don't know as a team that went 0-10 how you can feel better about the chance to go out and win a football game at the end of the year.
Well, Jim, I'll tell you how competitive it made our playoffs. I'll use the age group that I coach in, the 9-year-old age group. Our number 1 seed was 10-0. The number 2 seed was 9-1. Our number 8 seed was 7-3.
Well, and look at the 10-year-old age group. Last week of the regular season, Ackworth and Hiram play at Hiram the last week of the regular season. If Ackworth wins, there's a 4-way tie for the number 1 seed. Ackworth's going to be tied for that number 1 seed, has a chance to be the number 1 seed by coin toss. They lost that game to be their second loss of the year, became a number 6 seed.
Yes.
1-6 in a 2-point ball game.
Yep.
That 10-year-old age group, you could have thrown a blanket over those 8 teams. You could put that bracket back on the field tomorrow, restart that bracket. You may have two completely different teams in the Super Bowl.
And still have a good game.
What was gone were these blowout playoff games. Our playoffs were competitive. Our Super Bowls have been very, very good football games. Were there some good teams left out of that 8-9 slot that didn't get in the playoffs? Yeah, probably in an age group or two.
But Jim, let's be honest. If you couldn't finish better than 9 in the regular season,
Correct.
were you really going to beat 1
Correct.
through 8? Because to get those losses to put you into the 9, you probably got beat by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yes.
I mean,
I just don't. I don't know what kind of playoff run you can expect. Yeah, okay, we got hot at the end of the year.
Well, you should have.
You should have got
hotter early. Yeah.
It was hot in July.
That's right. Very hot.
So, but I think it's been a positive for the league. Do we have a few things that as a playoff committee that this came up for the first year? Are there some things that we need to go back and take a look at? Yeah.
We need to look at our tiebreakers, Jim. I mean, we had a couple instances where
we had one age group, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. You had a coin flip for number 1 and number 2. You had a coin flip for 3, 4, and 5. You had a coin flip for 6 and 7. Of the top 8, the only seed that was set without coin flips was the number 8 seed.
Yes. In the 9-year-old age group, 1 and 2 were set. There was a flip for 3, 4, and 5, and a flip for 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah, and that's something you don't want a season's worth of work to come down to a coin toss. There's been a lot of talk, and everybody's had an opinion and threw out ideas. I am firmly. I chaired the playoff committee. I would hope that the chairman asked me to continue to wrap this up this year and kind of give a presentation. I will never, ever in youth football advocate point differential or points for a tiebreaker, because you'll have some knuckleheaded moves out here and teams getting beat 70-0.
Well, let me give you an example, Jim. For some of the folks at home that might think, well, why wouldn't you do points allowed? Because, I could see points for because you don't want to rub it into your team, but why couldn't you do points allowed? Because then if I've had a real good run all year, Jim, I'm gonna kind of explain briefly what could happen. You and I are good friends. And I know that you are going to play a team next week that is in contention with me for that playoff spot. I call you as my friend and go, Jim, if they give up more than 20 points, I'm in the playoffs. You'd hate to think that we could question each other's integrity like that, but it's going to happen.
We all have friends in this league.
Yes.
You don't want to punish a group of kids because you and I have a friendship.
Right.
It's human nature. We're competitors. These grown men on these sidelines are every bit as competitive as these kids are. If you talk
sometimes more so.
We got a lot of these officials walk around. You talk to them, I think some of us are more competitive. They'll tell you some of us are more competitive than our kids are. And he's pointing. One of the officials is pointing fingers at other coaches walking by.
Yes.
He's never pointed a finger in here. He's pointing at other guys walking up and down the hallway. I don't know what he's doing.
Camera operator.
But we just can't. I don't know what the answer is. We need to sit down back again. Maybe even we don't meet as a committee. We get back in front of all the presidents at our league meeting in January, and open the floor for a 30-minute discussion. Yeah, that sounds like a long discussion. And that's another habit we've got to get out of in that room.
We've got to be able to discuss it. We've got to know that we're going into some of these, and they're going to be long for what's best for the league. And I'll tell you, going back to a block schedule, and for everybody out there that doesn't know what that means, we have teams in our D1 age group are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 and 12. I think you have to throw out the 11 and 12 because of the dynamic we
Whole
talked about
different
earlier.
ball game. You cannot throw that in the process.
But if we could get back to every team in the
Y'all
league.
still talking about the playoffs in there?
Yes.
Or have y'all went on to something new?
Playoffs. Still talking playoffs. Playoffs.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
Playoffs? Playoffs?
Playoffs. But if every team in our league had a team in the 6 through 10-year-old age group, you could go back to a block schedule and go back to where you have everybody playing kind of equal schedules.
And I think you'd eliminate some of these coin tosses because you got more commonality of schedules.
Yes.
And teams have played one another.
Yes.
But right now, I had 1 week this year, and we've got a large park. We're I think, by a number of teams, the second largest park at Hiram
yes.
in the league. I had one weekend, what was one of our, what would traditionally in our old schedule be called our away weekend for our D1 teams. I had teams playing at 8 different parks.
Yeah,
that is impossible as a president of a park, as a board member.
As a parent that has kids across
exactly.
multiple teams that you're 2 parents with 3 kids and you're trying to go to 3 different parks with
Correct.
Can we please go to a block schedule? That would make it so much easier on me.
Well, nobody cares about what I do for the schedule guy. I don't really. That doesn't concern me at all.
You too, Jim.
You already did. Thank you, Nate.
That's highly inappropriate. Are your nipples hard too?
You know, earlier there was talk about about doing this with clothes on, and I didn't know exactly what they were talking about.
We were supposed to keep our clothes on?
Jim said he could come up here and do it naked if he wanted to.
I don't need that visual right now. For the viewers at home, you don't need that visual either, okay?
Looks like a pumpkin riding 2 toothpicks.
We have
so how is
we need to get some music playing?
We need to get some music playing, I think.
How's this broadcast been going up here? Keeping it PG, or did I just take it to a whole new level?
You blew us up. We were doing good.
We were doing good until the nipple comment.
The hardest thing, now having you on the sidelines to be in the middle of that discussion was great. Not being able to communicate back and forth has sucked.
Gentlemen, I hate to interrupt your banner,
I keep
but
seeing all the
we have a football game that's about to start.
No, talk.
Well, so let's recap for a second here. Coming into the start of the third quarter, it's the Atlanta Colts 14, the Douglasville Tiger Cubs 12, and it looks like the Colts will be kicking off to start the second half to the Tiger Cubs.
Did we get cold and do a 3-minute halftime, or did we just run our mouth right through?
I think we ran our mouth right through that quick halftime. Play number 6. Oh, yes. Here we go.
So,
nice weapon to have, though, that kicking game, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's made the
difference.
I said from the beginning that could be the difference, and so far it's.
Has there been some entertaining comments come from this side that I haven't heard because I'm on the mic down there by myself?
Yes, you have missed some good conversation.
Have y'all been using our live feed from the down
low? Onside kick again. Oh, it's loose.
And
I think the Colts have got it.
I believe the Colts.
Wow.
That is the second perfectly executed onside kick.
What
they
a bounce.
spend a ton of time at practice on this.
Yeah. I thought Larry Pankey for a minute was going to turn Lee Seeger's red face on me.
Oh, during that controversy of the alignment,
of the alignment of the.
Ooh. But I didn't get to see Lee Seeger's red face though.
We beat.
So you know it's okay.
We beat the lawyer puns to death during that conversation.
Yeah, he was sidebarring in chambers.
Was he slamming his gavel too?
Yes. And here we go. The Colts.
Have y'all seen his coaching picture yet?
Oh,
it's him running for office.
Yes. Yeah. Here we go. The tight wedge formation again from the Colts. That's a direct snap to Powell around the left side. Breaks a tackle. Cuts back the other way. He's got room. He is going to the 30, the 25, the 20. Oh, little stutter step gets him down to about the 16-yard line.
Nice
and we got a flag. That's a late flag right there from Mr. Meeks.
Nice defense.
Is that Barry down there? They threw that flag with the white towel?
Is that a flag on the arrowhead too? I can't tell.
No, that's
just.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
is.
Is
that 2 flags on the arrowhead?
There's 2 flags on the arrowhead, isn't it?
Yep, one at the tip and one at the.
Careful now. Careful where we're going. We're trying to keep it PG. One on the tip, and I guess I'll say for you, there's one on the shaft. Okay, here we go. Move on.
Jeff would know how to work the shaft.
Let me back up and recognize the kid there. You had the play had broken for long yardage. Number 3 from Douglasville, Justin Jones, did a great job of funneling that play to the sidelines, using the sidelines as an extra
12th
defender.
Man.
You know, like I teach my kids at whatever age group, the sideline is your friends playing defense. You have a 100-yard-long friend on that side of the field, and he did a great job of not letting that play go for a touchdown.
So what play? We have one penalty that was declined. We had to have some kind of hold, block in the back, illegal formation, illegal procedure, because the ball's coming back to the original line of scrimmage.
We had to have offsetting penalties somewhere during that play.
Was it a redo, Jim?
Do-over.
Do we have a do-over?
Is Glenn back on the field? Did Glenn get a phone call on the
Here we
field?
go.
Again?
Snap to Powell around the left side again. Oh, and he is met with force by number.
50.
Was
that was Askins again?
Golly, that boy's all over the field. Him and that looked like number 7 was in on that tackle too.
Number 7's been playing that defensive end on the far side, defensive end, outside linebacker, depending on how they line up.
That's Marquise
Collins.
Oh, he did. Looks like our sideline camera's turned off, so you'll just have the view from up top here.
When we remember to move it.
I think our camera lady's been doing a good job of moving the camera here, if she can reach it.
Just going to watch the game for a few minutes.
Here we go. Colts lined up.
Last time they went to this no huddle, they got a delay a game call on them.
Yeah, I still don't understand it. Powell around the right side, cuts up the middle. Oh, and we've got one of our Fluga Dugas. Here, we're going to do this one more time for you, folks. Nate, go ahead and hit that. Yeah, I mean, blow it.
Uh-oh, got a player down. Hang on, guys. Got a player on the field.
Oh, wait a minute. Hit the pipe. I mean, blow that noisemaker thing again. I'm sorry. Blow the noisemaker. Yeah, the long, cylindrical. We have heard that from the sidelines all game long. Who's down there on the field here?
I can't get a number.
Douglasville Tiger Cub.
I was trying to get y'all to hush for a minute, but everybody just kept right on playing while we were trying to check on this young man. Sure hope the young man from the 10-year-old game recovers quickly.
Yes, he was taken off in the ambulance.
Made it to the sidelines.
Ambulance.
Made it to the sidelines. They did have to call the ambulance on him, or as we say in Paulding County, ambulance. But we did not have to call the police.
Not the police. Nope. The ambulance did come. But I think the inhalator took him off.
I really hope the young man, he was talking with everybody before he left.
Sounded like he had a little blow to the head and was just a little confused maybe where he was and what day it was, but you know how that'll come out. And here comes number 3. That's Jones, isn't it?
Number 3, that's Jones.
He's up on the field. And he's walking off under his own power, folks. So let's go ahead and give a hand to number 3, Mr.
It's the corner that made the play over here on the near side of the field to keep that from being a touchdown, too. That's
So just so you know, we have a 4th and about a short 4. Ball is spotted on
a short 4?
I think I'd run the little blob up the middle play. I wonder what they call that, 11 blob?
Hogan in the middle? Hogan in the middle?
It's called cluster up the middle is what I would call it. Because
does he
that's
have
about
the
what it
hair
looks like.
that like Hulk Hogan that goes in the back?
No, and he doesn't do the Ric Flair.
Woo!
Woohoo! Sorry for that, folks. Here we go. The tight wedge again. 4th and 4. That's Jones around the left side. Cuts back to the right.
Nothing.
He's met there by a host of Tiger Cubs.
Going to be a turnover on downs.
Yep, the Tiger Cubs are going to take over in about their own 36.
All right, Jeff, you're
number 50
you're
on
the
tackle.
offensive guy here, and I'm going to think as a head coach, at Douglasville, you got to start feeling like you've got to score here. You've got to do something to get the lead in this game.
You know, what I have not seen I saw the Tiger Cubs working on a whole lot of passing before the game, a lot of routes and running their different trees, but I haven't seen them open up the passing game yet, and I got to think, Jim, that they're going to come out this second half and see if they can't attack on that with that pass a little bit, I think.
You've got a couple of rangy kids there from Douglasville who are not sticker players, 44, 88. You got a couple of big bodies out there that you got to think at some point in time they're gonna try to start probing around throwing the ball a little bit.
And Jim, I got to tell you, as tight as they're playing these corners, I got to think you could hit the edge on these guys. Look how tight those corners are.
Are they only playing in that tight because they're in a 2-tight formation?
That could be. But a little toss here, there's nothing that says you couldn't run a toss out of this power eye. And there's a little run out to the right side. 88 is big, but he runs tall. He runs tall.
Look at that.
Did y'all see 44 on that run to our sideline?
Yes.
Yes.
On the field, there was every time he made contact, it was a pop. I mean, boom, boom. And then you got the hit by 25 of Atlanta Colts in the sideline over there.
He hit him on a dead run.
That was a hit.
Now, Nate, let me ask you, because, you know, again, you being an offensive-minded guy, too, what I'm seeing with this lineup with the Colts, I think what they tried to do there was a handoff and stretch to the outside. I think that's a little reverse pivot by the quarterback with a nice toss to get the kid out in space quick, might get him to the edge before they get these corners.
They could probably run a counter and pull a guard and
That's Nate's answer to
Really?
everything. Want to solve world hunger? Run the counter.
I'm with that. To me,
I'll run a fullback dive.
Here we go. There is the dive. And that gets them about 5
they
or
scored.
6.
They scored on the fullback dive of their first touchdown.
Yeah.
Nate
It
scored
looked
on
like
about
it was
pretty
16.
little dive.
See.
Nate scored on the fullback dive about 62 times today.
Nate, we gave you a shout out earlier on your winning that. Congratulations on the victory in your 8-year-old Super Bowl there.
Thank you, sir.
How many Super Bowls is that for you, Nate, as a coach?
3 out of the last 4 years.
3 out of the last 4 years. Who'd you lose to in
Congratulations.
that one year you lost?
No comment.
Oh, was that? And that
Hire
was
him by 1 point.
That was the infamous Hiram parents yelling "Ackworth Warriors" chant
Yes.
at the end of that game. Yes, I do remember that.
Yes. I hate that chant. I really do.
From anybody.
From everybody.
I hate that chant, and I'm Ackworth.
Here we go, under center in the I formation. There's to the handoff to the deep back, number 44. He breaks a tag. Man, that boy! Look at the spin. What an effort! My hat's off to him.
You're not knocking him down.
No.
You're gonna have to tackle that young man.
That I tell you what, the Colts made the cardinal rule as a defensive. They assumed he was down.
Number 44 is 11 years old.
Wow.
He's got to play again next year.
Wow.
As a sticker player.
Number 44.
He weighs 145 pounds. He is 11 years old.
We're aware of that, Nate. We did weigh-ins all stinking day.
He was their offensive tackle at 10 years old last year.
First down for the Tiger Cubs. 1st and 10 on their own 48-yard line. The little quick dive gets nothing.
Quick dive, but that was a setup play. That was not a play to gain
because
yards.
did you see that the offset of the backs was not an I? It was not an I. It was not a T. It was not a slot. It was
a wing. It was the old wing T formation.
Yes.
I don't remember if it's 100 or 900.
That would have been the 100.
Okay.
Because it would have the tight end right and the wing to the left.
Jeff
of the
sounds like
fullback.
he's trying to spell out a word over here. T, not the I, not the B, not the C, not the G.
Give me a W.
And you had to take it there.
Yes, I did. I even
you gonna be a male cheerleading coach today?
Well, we have not seen.
I heard you're considering it.
We have not seen the male cheerleading coach make his way out there with the girls to see if he can do the.
We did note him earlier when we talked
jump.
about all the new things that Atlanta had brought to the league, and the male cheerleading coach was one of them.
Here we go. A little bit of an inverted bone. Maybe there's the pass.
There it is.
He's wide open.
Oh, what a catch!
What a catch by Is that number 8?
Number 8.
Wow.
Number 8 is.
Number 8 is Jabray Price. Jabray.
It appears that Shutley is back on the sideline again. Was that correct?
Yes.
He's down there in the cold.
Oh, we have a sideline camera.
You know, after I heard about Matt Shutley, I figured to go ask Ken the same question. But I don't think he'd be as forthcoming as Matt was with the information.
I can't believe you looked down on the sidelines and had to ask if Matt Shutley was down on the sidelines. I can see Matt Shutley on the sidelines.
I bet y'all had some fun comments about us two big boys down there.
Between Matt and Scott Hall, we have a half a ton of New Hope coach down there. Now, I'm going to tell you what. If our league ever starts a football team of its own, we have the offensive line right there from New Hope.
At least 3 out of the 5.
You've got another man down there, Ken Quinn from Hiram, is not a small man.
Not a small man either. Oh, it's picked off.
Holy
a screen
cow.
pass picked off on the run by number what? He saw that from 6 miles away.
Davis Brown, number 55.
Can we get a replay on
like
that?
my ex-wife smelled a bonus check. I'm going to tell you, he snuffed that one out.
They tried to run a little flare route with the back, and 55 was not fooled for a second.
Not for a second. That number 55 was Davis Brown for the Atlanta Colts. That brings our score to 20-12 with the try for 2 here.
If they miss the extra point here, Jeff, it's still an 8-point ball game.
It's still an 8-point ball game. And if they make it, it's a huge – that's a two-score game.
Yep.
Extra points are very crucial.
Got one short. Looks like the Atlanta players are motioning for one more player to come on the field.
Jim, I'm going to stand behind you right here, but if you let one on me, we're going to have problems.
You'll have problems.
We've got an awful tightly confined space here for anybody to be floating air biscuits, so let's just try to keep away from
with the two of y'all in here, I'm surprised it
we'll
already
have a delay
happened.
a game call against the Colts here. Now, the last time they had this delay a game on an extra point, got pushed back on the extra point. Extra point was blocked.
Blocked. That's correct. That's correct. .503 left in the third quarter, 20-12, with the Colts about to attempt to try for 2.
They called that against Douglasville, had 12 players on the field.
joining us in the booth.
Because we have so much extra room.
And leaving and running for the Mount Carmel Rams, Mr. Marcus Hill.
Apparently when you cut on a mic, Marcus runs.
That was half of Marcus was in here.
Yeah,
The other half of Marcus was lost during the offseason when he dropped how much weight? 70? Marcus
I don't know.
not answering that.
One of the guys in here in the booth has dropped 40-something.
Oh, he'll tell
40?
you about it, too.
Apparently when he walked in today, he looked like he had AIDS.
Oh, yeah, I was told that I had that. Did he make it?
He made it. 22 to 12. 10-point ball game.
I think somebody said that the kicking game might be a difference here.
Hey, everybody's got to be right every now and then.
Even a bad watch a broken watch is right twice a day. Nice shot of the sideline there of the Colts. Our sideline cameraman Matt Shelley with a nice shot of the Colts there.
You want to talk about a heartbreaker? If Atlanta can execute another one of these onside kicks and get the ball back here, this might this might spiral.
It could be a dagger. And I'm trying to watch the body language of the Tiger Cubs. They don't look at all like they're worried, concerned, defeated.
This team has not been behind since week number 1.
But they seem to be handling it right now. I don't see heads down. I don't see fighting amongst the players. I don't see some of the normal telltale signs that tell that a team is kind of packing it in for the night.
These are two really, really good-sized 11- and 12-year-old teams on the field.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are all thick, and I know Jim's had the pleasure of
I
playing
could have
both
told
of
you
them.
that before the year started.
And here's that onside kick. Oh, now 88 gets it. Oh, big number 88, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling to the 40-yard line. Wow.
Sean Paradise again on the carry there.
Paradise. That was what's.
Apparently, Jeff is becoming very entertaining.
I hope I didn't. I hope Berman doesn't sue me for that infringement upon his copyright. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
He's a tool.
Well, that he is, but he's about 613 years old now. So.
Apparently, they're accusing us of smoking some kind of ether or something in here.
Douglasville
and
needed
being all out of our minds.
I did smell a gas leak earlier, and I didn't think it was coming from Black's backside, so it may just
one
be a
thing you
natural
got to
gas
do is
leak.
don't slam your hand on the table because lights will fall from the ceilings.
Douglasville needed that
mic.
right there. They needed it. No, you didn't. I can hear you.
Okay.
Please don't turn yourself up any louder. Big break for Douglasville getting the ball 1st and 10 on the Atlanta Colts 40-yard line.
Here we go. Power eye. Hand
Power
off to number
again,
3, Jones.
I guess he feels better.
Yeah, obviously. Boy, he was running for some hard yards right there.
Five
Jim, that was a hard 5 yards, and he earned it.
He earned every step of those.
It.
He got hit at least 4 times on that 5 yards. The backs from both teams run the ball exceptionally hard.
Exceptionally well.
This is a physical football game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it translates to the shot we have on camera, but this is a very, very physical football game.
Look at the size of those kids from our sideline camera. Look at how big 55 is and 50. Remember, folks, these are 11 and 12-year-old kids. These aren't 15 and 16-year-old boys out there. Hand off to number 3 again. Wow, he is just
Who was the guided
effort.
missile
That
came
was
and
number
knocked?
862. That's your
That's
boy,
my man.
Jamil. That's the other Jamil.
Jamil Burrows.
Yeah, Burrows said, I'm getting me some.
We're going to get 2 extra yards out of this play, and I'm going to show you how we're going to get
He looked like he was running for a Big Mac right there for that one, Jim.
It's such a great kid. I've talked to him over the
Yeah.
years and watched him kind of grow up through that program. Just a super young man.
Here we go. All right, they're running a little bit of a hurry-up offense right here.
Big
Power eye
Mac.
formation.
I could go for a Big Mac. Who said Big Mac?
Oh, I haven't had a Big Mac in so long.
Inside
dive to the
handoff.
outback. Yep.
Was that the tight end he just gave
It
that to?
did look like it was almost a little end around up the an in the middle. I think that was an in the middle. I think we just created a new play, the in the middle, instead of the end around.
If I had a tight end, I'd run that play, but we don't run with a tight end.
I had a tight end, but I forgot to do the buns of steel today, so.
Oh, I thought maybe you were going to say you chased him off, too. Y'all started the year with about 28 players and finished with 13.
I tell you what, we had a meeting on the hill that was I remember looking at Mr. Kevin Baker like, what did I get myself into?
I mean, he was probably thinking the same thing. What did I get myself into?
We went from Super Bowl contender to the toilet bowl contender, but you know what? I'm proud of those kids. They came off of that disaster and debacle that was the beating that New Hope and Ackworth gave us in those jamborees to an 8-2 regular season.
You guys coached this year, and I think I've talked to Kevin about it at length.
I've never coached so hard.
It's easy to coach a great football team.
Yes.
It's easy to look smart coaching a great. You want to find out what kind of coach you are? Deal with some adversity or have a bad football team.
I'm going to tell you what, number 44, the will of him to get yardage, that he does not go down on first contact. That was a little misdirection, counter to the left at number 44, which again is Mr. Ratcliffe.
Isaiah Ratcliffe, playing well on both sides of the ball.
Both sides of the ball. It looks like his hand's hurt. He's got to come out for a minute there. He's holding his wrist.
I don't know if his hand's hurt. It looks like something came off. He's got a pad or something in his hand that looked like it came off. His right shoe came off.
Jim, this is a big play here. Third, and it looks like, what, a 3rd and 3 maybe? Ball spotted on the 18-yard line of the Colts. Douglasville comes out under center, number 7 in the power I formation. Kind of surveys the field, gets under center, calls his cadence.
Right guard bobbled.
Right guard, yep.
When you're 225
when you're
plus
225, I think it's more than a bobble.
Everybody sees it.
Yes.
You can't sneak that one.
There is nothing subtle about 230 pounds flinching. So that changed the dynamic of this play call for Douglasville. I mean, they had a number of plays they could have called it 3rd and 3, but at 3rd and 8, kind of changes.
Shorter list on 3rd and 8 than there is 3rd and 3.
7 under center again in the power I formation. It's a handoff to number 12. It looks like he got the edge, and it looks like he's gone, Jim. That's
got one chance.
Touchdown. Number 12.
First time we've called his name tonight.
Tyreek
Ham.
Let's see if he hams it up after that touchdown.
Well, that was very, very quick to the edge.
He hit
and that goes back to the point you made earlier, where those corners sucked in so tight. That edge is just dying to be gotten.
It's calling them name. It's calling that.
Yeah.
That
calling
too.
Them name.
Calling them name. Calling them name.
My name Jeff.
Oh. Hulk smash.
I talk radio.
Smart I am, says Yoda.
And again, you got to throw. It was a 2-score game. It was a 10-point. You got to go for 2.
You got to go for 2.
You cannot lose another 2 points in this exchange.
No, you've got to come here and get these 2 points. Jim right now is an offensive coordinator. My favorite play to call on this right here: tight end left, roll my quarterback to the right, and drag that tight end across the field, giving me the option.
Almost that little waggle look out of the old wing tee stuff.
Oh, that is my favorite play. If there's a better play in the wing tee, I want somebody to show it to me.
A waggle, you can run waggle 400 different ways.
Oh, gosh, that is such a great play.
Got it 88 flexed right there on the goal line. Got it in.
Did he get it in? Yes, he did. Yes.
That's just using that big body right there to screen the defender and make a catch right on the goal line.
That was a good throw by the quarterback, and that brings our score 22-20. Colts with the lead over the Tiger Clubs with 1:53 left in the third.
You had to have that 2-point conversion.
That was huge.
You had to.
Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't afford to go down 4. I tell you what, I think this will bring the energy up on both sides. I can hear a little bit more noise coming from these sidelines.
What you like to see is the answer from Douglasville right there. You just gave up a huge momentum-swinging touchdown to Atlanta's defense.
And Jim, it goes back to when the Tiger Cubs were receiving that kickoff, we had mentioned that they did not look for a second like their heads were down, that they were defeated. They were taking it in stride, like, okay, we still have a chance to score, and they did just that. Good point, Jim. Who's kicking off right here? It looks like they got kind of a weird formation. Tiger Cubs.
Number 3 kicked off last time, if I'm not mistaken.
Looks like he's off. Okay, that's not. Yeah, here we go. And it is number 3 indeed. And he attempted an onside kick and unfortunately missed it.
That didn't quite go 10 yards.
That was a swing and a miss.
Fouled
a swing and a miss.
Fouled off to the screen.
I think he was expecting a fastball and got a curve and was a little bit out in front of that one. 1 yard kick.
I have seen shorter this year, though. I saw one that wound up a yard behind the tee.
Wow.
On an onside kick attempt. It hit the front of the ball and squibbed sideways and took a U-turn.
Sounds like the one golf shot I took in my life. And that was the last one I ever took. When the ball went backwards, I threw the club down and said, that's enough for me. No more golf. One attempt on the first hole, the first time I ever would play golf.
Nothing like sticking with it. I hope you teach that same.
My stick-to-itiveness has not been passed on to the kids.
Atlanta back in the wedge.
Here we go. Now I should just see some ball control here, hopefully. That's that little lead off to the right side to Powell. And look at
Holy
wow,
cow.
was that Garcia?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. He got up. I think. No, I'm not sure.
I don't like that call at all.
I don't either. You got to let a kid have a little emotion.
I do not like that. I am not a showboaty guy. I don't like all that mess. I don't like that call at all.
It's the Super Bowl, Jim. It's the Super Bowl. The kid made a nice play. You gotta let him play. Let him have some emotion. This game's full of emotion. I can't stand to see the emotion taken out of this game.
No, I don't like showboat. I don't like the look at me stuff. But that wasn't what that was. That was a kid celebrating a good play.
A good play. He's excited that he
this
did.
Is
he's not getting paid.
When parents get upset or that a coach said this, or we as coaches, things slip from time to time. And what I always explain to people when they come to me, this is an emotional game played by emotional kids and coached by emotional men. Let them have a little bit of stinking emotion on the field.
Well, I'm telling you what, if you play like it's golf, you're going to get beat like you're a golfer playing football. You've got to have emotion. You've got to have some fire in this game to be successful. There's Powell around the right side.
Block.
Look at the – oh, my God. You talk about an ankle breaker, Jim. Poor Justin Jones, I think, might be hobbled after that.
I think that was an ugly cut right there.
Jeffrey Powell put a move on him that looked like a move that you probably made at your first 16-year-old girlfriend. I mean, he tried everything in the book to get what he needed there.
Who? No, he came back. He came back in the game.
Yeah, he did like the Frankenstein robot.
Offsides, Douglasville jumped in the neutral zone.
Oh, I didn't see that. I thought they got him for doing the little Frankenstein. You know what? That's the edge of dirty. You know,
I got maybe a little different opinion on that now.
You know, yeah. Well,
don't bring facts into this conversation, Nate.
Yeah, we were fine with all the supposition.
Now, and again, this is what drives you crazy. You coach and you preach and you talk about discipline. You hold Atlanta to a 1-yard gain on first down, and then you jump off sides to make it second and short.
Yeah, and
does that camera look like?
That's the sideline camera.
Okay.
Right now we got it on the sideline camera.
Because that view from this camera looks like it's filmed from Clayton County, and we're trying to get it all the way here.
How do I zoom that in? Oh, it's at the top.
That's just a little too wide. There we go. That's better. Everybody's not. We don't want to see up that guy's nose. Now we got to do a lot better job of paying attention, but.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring it out a little bit.
That's going to be the end of the third quarter there as we flicker with the camera. End of the third quarter, 22-20. Atlanta Colts leading the Douglasville Tiger Cubs at the 11-12 D1 Super Bowl for the Northwest Georgia Youth Football League. What a ball game so far. And I don't think the fourth quarter is going to see any let up on either side of the ball.
On either side of the ball. I think we have a treat in store for the rest of the people here. What am I doing?
That's a question I've heard asked very often, Jeff.
I don't know what I'm doing with this camera right now.
The tripod seems kind of herky-jerky, too. It's not real smoothly operating.
And I'm hitting the wrong button here. I'm trying to widen out and zoom in.
Whoa. Now we're back to film from space. There we go. Don't touch it.
There we go, right there. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Let's see. Our sideline. Here's the view from our sideline camera. That's a good view of the – well, I'm getting dizzy. No, we're coming up the stairs, it looks like.
What is he doing? Look, he's standing on the bench.
Uh-oh. I don't know what the weight what the weight limit on the bench is, but I think we might be exceeding it right now.
There we go.
Here come the Colts.
Well, that is an orange uniform.
That is orange. That is. I thought Ackworth was orange. This is orange. So the Colts have the ball.
Power
There's
sweep
Powell
to this
around
side.
the left side.
Powell cuts back into that against the grain cut as good as any back
I've seen.
Swap sides with me here, Jeff. I think I can work the camera and talk at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not doing good at that, am I? Our camera girl left for a minute.
Got a player down for Douglasville. It looks like maybe 98 again.
And it looks like it must be something in his legs because he was pounding his arms in the ground. And now he's pounding his legs in the ground. So he's obviously okay. Maybe he might have taken a shot in the gut, Jim, with him pounding his legs and his arms, or in the nether regions.
Yes.
And you know, if there was ever just sometimes you can tell a kid all day long you need to wear a cup, but sometimes he just needs to learn for himself.
I never could play in football. I couldn't wear a cup. It was too uncomfortable for me.
Well, I had a coach in high school.
But nowhere near as uncomfortable as getting hit in the doodle in the hangdowns. I mean, that's bad.
I had a coach in high school that was his requirement was you wore a cup. It wasn't a choice.
Did he check?
Yes, by kicking.
Oh.
Yes, and when he kicked my best friend square from the best friend playing nose guard in a 4-point stance, got kicked hard enough that he lifted off the ground. I never worried about wearing a cup again.
Let's see if I'm getting any better at this camera here, and let's see if we can get.
Shutley is all over the place with that camera. I think he's filming the ground.
I didn't know I was snapping pictures. I'm trying to zoom in, and
I think I did that. I'm not camera. Okay, we're getting a shot of the referee's butts. I don't think we need that. Oh yeah, zoom out. Jim, I guess, has got a little referee butt fetish going on right now, but we'll hopefully get over that.
That'll be a good stripe butt every now and then.
9:52 left in the fourth quarter, where the Atlanta Colts are clinging to a 22-20 lead over the Douglasville Tiger Cubs.
Ball deep in Douglasville territory.
First and 10, we can get a first down. That was that up the middle play. And I'm going to tell you, please tell me they did not throw a flag on number 34.
You're going to get a face mask right there. That was the ball carrier right at the goal line, and I think you're going to get a face mask at the end of that play.
And you could get a holding call on 34 as well because they almost threw the flag at him. But to me, it looked like a dang good block.
Jeff, 34 was carrying the ball, bud.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what I said. He wasn't.
Again, ball real easy to find in this offense.
Not easy to find in this offense. That'll put the ball on the
first and goal from the one, almost two.
I'm going to say, Jim, as a betting man, that there may be the direct snap dive up the middle right here.
Think?
It's a very distinct possibility.
Touchdown.
And it was indeed for a touchdown. That brings our score 28-20. And, Jim, here's where those extra points, if they miss the extra point, they're still up by 8.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Jim.
If they kick this one.
You know what I'm thinking,
yeah.
don't you? Know what I'm thinking? Up already by 8.
But, and here we are being coaches, Jeff, don't out-coach yourself.
Exactly.
Do what you've
always done. Yes.
Just be who you are. If you kick extra points, then line up and kick the stinking extra point.
And that is indeed what they're going to do. So luckily, Larry is obviously a little more intelligent than I.
Well, he's more smarter than both of us, obviously, because he's playing tonight and we're hanging out down here.
And that is good. And that's a 10-point lead. 30-20, Colts with 9:26 left in the fourth quarter.
Hey, easy with that. That costs a lot of money over there.
What's that thing you do where you – that finger thing you do where you –
and it puts it all down there in one little spot for
See,
you.
I never could do that because I never did that. So
if you spill it, I will beat you to death right here in this. No, grab it like that. No, middle finger. Now, whip it and use your top finger. Or you can look like a –
Okay, I'm not good at this, but
I'm gonna try to. If they run this if they run this onside kick again, I want to try to get a shot of this bounce. This kid is a master. At this onside
bouncing
kick.
This. And it looks like you think maybe the Tiger Cubs are expecting it with that formation they're lined up in.
And they
look at that. They kick it deep into the Bermuda Triangle and number 4. Now this could be trouble, Jim. This could be trouble. But why is he not running? Now I know why he wasn't running. Oh! A shoestring tackle saves a touchdown.
I honestly, Jeff, earlier this, he may be shaken up. Nope, he's back up. Earlier this year, I saw my first true shoe. You've heard that phrase the whole time of your football life. I saw a kid tackle another one by getting his thumb in the loop of a shoestring and tripping somebody.
Now I will tell
literally a shoestring tackle.
That your Hiram 9-year-old team has a cornerback named Gandy.
Yes.
that made 3 tackles from his back, reaching up to grab our running back's ankle in a 6-0 game that y'all won.
Wow. It was early
From
in the year,
his
wasn't it?
yeah, second game of the season. Yeah, that kind of told us that maybe we weren't as bad off as we thought we were.
Well, and you guys, then you were still reeling. You're still kind of backpedaling from the losses and
reeling is
the
an
theatrics
understatement.
that went on during
we had the great tap
jamborees
out.
and I just.
Yeah, let me go ahead and call Coach Clarence out, jumping over the rope and pulling his kid off the field in the middle of a play.
Wow.
Hey, Coach Clarence, if you're listening, I hope you know I just called you out on that because that was a chicken move.
Oh, you got.
I'm going to tell you what, Jim. I don't like how 44 is carrying the ball.
I don't know.
He was
and
carrying a loaf of bread to his grandma.
I'm sorry, I forgot to move the camera on that play. 44 got bowed back about a yard, broke around the left end. Where this flag is thrown back here, nobody was doing anything. Nobody was blocking. Nobody looked real interested in watching the play, and got a flag thrown 35, 40 yards away from the play. I don't like the call.
I don't agree with that. Not in this age level.
I often don't agree with referees. I think that's a pretty established reputation with me around our striped shirt buddies. But I just don't like that. Unless it's dirty or jeopardizes player safety, that penalty's got no business being called that far behind the play.
Jim, we got 9:08 left in the fourth quarter here.
Ken, go ahead and jump on the microphone and talk to us about this offense.
What's the play? We got now. Wait a minute. That was against.
They're going to call a hold against Douglas in a place where there wasn't anybody blocking.
There was nobody blocking. I mean, that was almost like on a different football field. Yes.
First and
a country mile. I think we've got to get to Chattanooga for a first down here.
First and 17. I've looked at my play call sheet a lot of times, and first and 17 is not on there.
No, that's power I, 7 under center. Number 7, calling a good game, Mr. Marquise Collins.
Power.
Oh, we got the ball on the ground. It's loose.
I
the
think
Colts are jumping up and down that they've got the ball. No signal from the referees yet.
They're calling him down. Side judge is calling him down.
Wow. Yep, because he's saying second down, indicating that the wow.
Probably for Douglasville, a good thing we don't have replay at this level, because I think that ball was out.
I don't think Coach Larry's too happy about that call. Coach Larry hasn't been happy with too many calls tonight.
No, he's not having fun.
He's using his lawyering skills.
I hope he wins more of these arguments in a courtroom than he has tonight.
Yeah,
he came out on fire, won the first argument, and he's been kind of over the night since then.
Seems like he's using some of them highfalutin lawyering skills to try to get to the referees. Here we go, power I.
First back through.
Oh, man, did he hit the hole hard. It looked like for a minute there that he might break that, but that was number 5. Number 5 is Denard Gray. Haven't called his name yet tonight.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was yawning.
We've went ahead and bored Jim into sleep in one of the best games of the night. He's
been a long day at North Cobb High School.
That'll bring up a 3rd and about 13 for the Tiger Cubs. You know, I'm thinking I still say they're going to have to start throwing the ball. They looked like they had a pretty good passing game, and I have yet to.
I think at this point it's got to be a downfield passing game. Don't play around with that little swing pass again and get it picked off.
No, but go vertical. Use some of that height advantage that you've got, you know. And it looks like that's about what they're about to set up here, running the spread. Got to wonder if those defensive ends are going to pin their ears back and come this play. Number 44. There it is. Now, you know, it's amazing that they threw a pass right there. Huh.
Are they plugged into us?
I think they're listening. Yes. I hate to call the plays for them, but
I'm sure they really care about what we're suggesting up here.
Well, so far the kicking game and the lack of the passing game and hitting the edge against these tight corners, And now I'm telling you, Jim, they proved to me that they can throw the ball and that the Colts didn't stop it.
44 is an awful big body to be able to throw the ball to on a quick game.
I'm telling you, why not come right back to it? And there's the dive up the middle off of it.
There was a defensive lineman there. I think who's number 55 from Atlanta?
That's the boy that had the touchdown, Davis Brown.
Great job of shedding a block and making a play right there. He was dead solid blocked, facing his chest, fought off a block and made a great play right there for a minimal gain.
And Jim, I think that to me that is the most underused skill in all of youth football is for defensive linemen to actually find the football instead of chicken fighting.
And did we quit teaching kids to use their hands and get off a block, or are we just peekabooing
and backing up looking for the play? Let me back up looking for it.
I want to get a boat paddle, and every time a linebacker or a defensive lineman backs up, hit him in the back of the head with it.
There's a handoff to number 5, Denard Gray. Man.
Holy cow.
Holy cow. Look at that stiff arm.
Loose.
Holy cow, what a stiff arm bird. Number 5, I'm going to tell you what, that might be the run of the night right there by Denard Gray.
In a game full of good runs.
Yes. He used not 2, but 3 stiff arms, I think, to get through that. That was,
I'm making a 30-26 game before the extra point, and playing against an offense who can just kill the clock on you.
Yes.
I mean, can eat up a ton of clock right here.
And at 5 minutes and 32 seconds left, Douglasville's got to line. They've got to get the extra point here. But they really, right now, whatever their best onside kick is, they better pull it out of the bag here.
I suggest you go ahead and dust that one off. And what a run by Denard Gray.
Wow, what a run. That was a beautiful. That was about a 45, 50-yard
ball
run?
was right at midfield, so
yeah.
it was right at a 50-yard run. Got an equipment malfunction over here in Atlanta. It's been blown back in play.
Those equipment malfunctions just really suck when they come up at the wrong time.
I think that ball was snapped before the quarterback was ready for it.
I missed that. I was still making comments about the equipment failures.
Yeah, that's what you were doing. Let's get this camera back at midfield because this could become a big, big onside kick attempt here.
This is huge, Jim. 30-26 with 5:32 left in the game. Colts up by 4 over the Tiger Cubs. And make sure we do know they are the Tiger Cubs.
Tiger Cubs.
Tiger Cubs, not the Douglasville
That has
Tigers.
been a big part of their relationship with Douglas County High School is making sure they were the Tiger Cubs.
Yep.
Douglas County High School, of course, has been the Tigers, I guess, since their inception. And that's been part of that relationship there between Douglasville Youth Association and the high school.
Well, we got to see what they've got here. I mean, I just can't believe with 5:32 left in the game and with the way the Colts can ball control, I'd be shocked that Douglasville wasn't lining up for an onside kick.
They're setting this up to kick deep.
I think that's a mistake, Jim. I mean, I'm not here to second guess a coach, but I'm going to do it. If you're not kicking for – okay, there is the onside kick.
I feel better.
It didn't go 10.
Didn't go 10, but did the Atlanta player touch that ball?
I think he sure did, but it doesn't.
He better be laying on it if he ran up there and touched that joker.
Still waiting for a call from the referees. They have not been quick to call anything here other than flags.
Well, yeah, I would rather be slow and get the call right than to make we've all seen it happen, make too quick of a call and lose track of what should have been going on.
Looks like it's.
We're going to have an officials conference offside, I believe.
From here, Jim, I couldn't tell who came up with the ball. I mean, I'm assuming that it. I mean, neither team is really stating their case or there's no gestures, there's no arm movement or wavement to say that, hey, we got it, they got it.
Interesting point here, Jeff. I just thought of. You're used to having 4 officials on the field. Is this one of the places where their mechanics are a little? Oh my! They have awarded Douglasville the ball.
Football. Let's see now. And I got to believe that.
Now the Atlanta sideline is screaming that the ball did not go 10 yards. If the Atlanta player came up in front of that 10 yards and touched the ball,
that nullifies the 10
yards.
Right. It nullifies. Once he comes up and touches it, it's a live ball, even if it didn't go 10. The Colts player, it looks like, came up and touched the ball before it went 10, which makes it a live football, and the Tiger Cubs came up on top of the ball.
We have a dueling. We have another broadcast of the game. The Atlanta Colts have their own streaming broadcast of the game. I bet our broadcast is better.
I would say so. 1st and 10. Tiger Cubs with the ball on their own 48-yard line. This is a huge, huge series right here. Jim, I got to go back to that outside or the passing game. Get to the edge, but there's the dive up the middle, and it's 2 yards. Jim, I don't understand why they're not attacking the edge. And I mean, they've had success.
Or let me counterpoint this. Do you feel like you can drive the ball and eat the rest of this clock up?
Well, 1, 2. They just made 3 yards. So, yeah, if they think they can get 3 yards and eat it up, they don't seem to be in a hurry here. They didn't get here because they're stupid. That's for sure.
What a great way to end up a night with a ball game like this. What a great way to bring this season to a close. Kind of a sad night, really, when you think about this is it for our football season.
Yeah, that's very sad. There's the dive again, and Jim, you may have a point. That's
I really
3
feel
yards.
like they feel like they can get 3 or 4 yards of carry, and the best way to keep Atlanta from scoring is keep them on defense.
Yep, that's true.
Except for that one play where their defense scored.
Oh, 3rd and 4. Now, this is huge here. Now, and I think everything right here is 4-down territory.
Oh, it has to be.
2.5 yards is all you need to average right now.
It has to be 4-down territory here. For this entire drive, I think it has to be.
I mean, especially now. You give them the ball at the 45, that doesn't worry you. You know what I'm saying?
No, you give up the ball right here. You need the ball more than you need anything else.
Let's see if the Colts will blitz through an A gap or B gap here. They look like they're. You know what? I'm telling you right now what's happening. If I used to run a lot of this power eye and a lot of these dive, and I've noticed the Colts are starting to pack in. Watch for a little tight end release here. Now he's going to run it here. He's going to run for the 1st down here. But if they get this 1st down within the next 2 plays, Jim, I'm going to say that they're going to sneak a tight end out into a pattern off this power eye. Huge 4th down. Huge 4th down play. 3:39 left in the game. 4th and 2. Tiger Cubs with the ball on the Atlanta Colts.
Wouldn't this be a
44
ballsy place to pull out that little reverse or something out of this?
Or, right now the Colts are geared up to stop a 1st down. And sometimes when you're so geared up to stop a 1st down, you can give up a touchdown.
Yeah, I would be tempted. Now, my favorite play in a tight end formation, little tight end pop pass right here.
Yep.
Everybody flying to the middle, and the quarterback just stands up and hit the tight end on a dump. And that tight end could go. A lot of times in these situations, he takes it the distance
to the house because
everybody's bit.
Everybody's bit on the play action.
Interesting comment yelled by the parent down there. Defense wins games, not the offense.
Well, I mean, if you're the 86 Bears or the 85 Bears, I guess, or the 2000 Ravens, 78 Steelers.
Good thing to yell when your defense is on the field, though.
Yeah. 3:19 left in the game. Atlanta Colts 30, Douglasville Tiger Cubs 26. I mean, I don't want to say this is the ball game, but this is a pivotal play in this game.
If they make it, it's not necessarily the ball game, but if they don't, it could be.
That's right.
What a phenomenal ball game here. Just everything I think everybody in the park thought it was going to be an 11 and 12-year-old. A rematch of a one-point ball game.
Earlier we called what 2 of the better Super Bowls could be, the 7, the 10, and the 11 and 12. Yep. And so far
that's been our 3 best games.
Yes. Here we come. Douglasville comes out 4th and 2. Lined up in that power eye again. You got to believe it's a dive right here to set. I still say they're going to set up a tight end pass eventually. And there is the dive, and it looks like well, depends on the spot now. From the spot I see, they got the 1st down. Yeah.
If they spot it on this, the side judge on this side, which I think the side away from the chains is the side judge. If they give it on his spot, it's a 1st down. If it's the
wow, they're going to measure that. I still say I'm like you. I think they got it.
I'm going to tell you what I don't like right here, though. They brought the ball from where it was back out towards the sidelines to make the spot, and I don't like that.
No.
Put the ball on the ground where it was and then come measure.
And then bring the change.
I don't like moving that football. And
man, it looks like from here it is a 1st down from the vantage point we've got, but we're at a funny angle, so it's.
Look at this, some camera work right here.
Wow, Jim's got it zoomed in, and let's see.
That
is a 1st down by a football. So now, Jim, I'm telling you, I would run the dive 2 more times and hit the tight end will be wide open if you run that dive 2 more times. wide open. You can release that tight end, and he could walk backwards into the end zone.
So I've gotten much more involved in the camera this part of this thing.
And you've kind of shut up.
Yeah, because that happens often. I don't remember anybody in this world ever saying, God, I wish Jimbo talked a little more.
Talked a little, yeah.
Or I wonder what Jim
thinks. Yeah, no, that's knowing your opinion is never a problem. 1st and 10, Tiger Cubs on the 42-yard line of the Colts.
Larry Pankey in a rare show of emotion there, trying to get his fans behind him, trying to get him pumped up.
Power eye again.
Those that don't have vuvuzelas are now down there going woo themselves.
There's number 3, Jones.
He's gone.
He's no. Yet. Oh, he stepped out at about the 17-yard line.
I think the official got in his way.
I do too.
And I think we didn't see that play on film because
we didn't move the camera. Well,
take our word for it. Good play.
2:40 left in the game. Tiger Cubs have the ball on the Colt 17-yard line. Jim, I'm still taking now even more than ever.
Cow.
The tight end. Look at how bunched in the Colts when they line up. Watch how bunched up they are.
The one thing about this Colt offense is not made to score quickly.
No.
Every second that ticks off this clock, if they lose the lead right here on this drive, it is a problem for Atlanta.
Here we go. 1st and 10, ball on the 17-yard line, back into the power eye. Collins under center. Jim, I mean, look at
nothing doing.
I can't tell you how much. I want you to watch the Colts defense on this next dive that they're going to run, and watch how all 11 players are within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Something to keep an eye on. 55, who's been playing tackle and tight end, just checked out of the game. Number 80 from Douglasville. Kendrick McClendon just checked in the game. Makes you wonder if he may be a tight end. Let's beat the tight end theory to death here.
Well, Jim, I'm saying I want to just send a paper airplane note over there to tell them the play is so wide open right here. Here they come back out into the power eye. 2nd and about 11. Collins under center again. Oh, left tackle jumped.
Wowee.
Wow. Now you almost have to start. Now you got to think about throwing the ball. 1:51 left in the game.
Doesn't hurt bad enough you lost a yard on 1st down. Now you got to give them 5 more before you run 2nd down. Second 16.
5th, 16, yeah. This is, again, not a lot of plays in the book at 2nd and 16.
But all the practice, all the drills, everything you go through, it comes down to 11 and 12-year-old kids on the field.
Yeah.
And mistakes are going to be made.
Yes.
Yeah, and what good's it going to do? What are you going to do, yell at that kid right now because he jumped off sides? He knows he screwed up.
He screwed up, yeah. And
you
don't need to
your
make
help,
it tighter for this play. Here we go, power eye formation again. Collins brings him up to the line under center. There's the toss I've been talking about.
And they
snuffed it out.
Alive.
And who is that, number 55? Was that 55 getting up from the bottom?
Yep.
It sure was. 55 has been our player. Davis Brown has been the player of the game right now on defense for the Colts.
Yes, and you'd have to say 44 from Douglas.
Yes. And the clock is still running.
It's getting stopped now.
No, 1:04 left.
Douglasville takes a timeout. Good time to take a timeout here on 3rd and now 17.
17. You got to look at 44 maybe running a quick just 10-yard fly from the slot.
I think that's who you got to get the ball to. Your most physical big back, you got to get the ball in his hands. Whoa.
I mean, basically, the Tiger Cubs have 2 plays to get the first down or the touchdown.
Can you see the screen right now? Look at the size of number 98 over
98
there.
is a big boy.
He stands out in a huddle full of big kids.
Yes. That is a grown man. That was the boy that was probably 6 foot and 230.
Yeah.
238.
And his voice is deep as mine.
Yes. I thought Barry White was coming to play for a minute. Baby. The Colts prodding at their fans to get up and get crazy. If I hear another horn, though, Jim, I think I'm going to go bats. I'm going to go batty.
Tiger Club's clawing to get in the end zone, and the Atlanta Colts hanging on for dear life.
Yep. Here we go. 3rd and 17. Collins brings him up to the line. Power I formation. Here's the snap.
Counter.
Counter to the left, and number 5, Denard Gray.
And 25.
Jeffrey Powell made the tackle, 25?
Yep.
Well, that's fitting. He's been the offensive superstar. He went ahead and made a stop.
Boy, does Randy Riggs have his work cut out of him for to pick a player of the game on both teams right here.
Wow. This, it's tough. I mean, I got to say that it's down to Brown and Powell for the Colts, and Ratcliffe. I mean, Ratcliffe has stood out and the Jones kid has played a good ball game.
And number 5, the one carry he had.
That's Denard Gray.
Denard Gray.
But I think over the body of work for the game now.
You got to look at 44.
44, yeah. Yeah, Ratcliffe has really come to play tonight on both sides of the ball.
Fourth in a ball game right here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
One side or the other is going to be really, really excited after this.
You know what I have not seen Douglasville run tonight? A reverse. Any kind of reverse or
not a lot of misdirection at all.
No. And maybe they've just made the decision that they're not going.
Do you know that team's disciplined enough where that's not going to work for you, and you just kind of take that out of your
playbook? Yeah.
Because on that counter right there, look how many people were still back on the backside of that play.
I really think this has got to be a pass play, and I think you were right. We just called his name, Mr. Ratcliffe. You got to get the ball in his hands and let him try to create in space and use his size.
4th and 13. 53 seconds left to go in the game. Atlanta Colts lead Douglasville 30-26.
Wow. This is it. This has been a great game. Here we come. Collins brings him to the line into the spread formation. Shotgun.
44 on the slant.
He's in the slot just like I called.
Now Atlanta's going to take a timeout and
which
look
is
at
smart.
that formation.
They saw that
football.
Now that's where you got to wonder if you're thinking ahead. If you're Douglasville,
is that a throwaway formation?
Yes.
Now do you come back out and trips to the other side?
Other side. Yep. You got to think again. Both these teams got to this point with a lot of good coaching, a lot of good talent. That's
it's just what we were
just talking about.
But
you got to get the ball into 44's hands.
Round of applause to both teams, both coaching staffs.
Yeah.
Very well coached ball game. Typical chess match at 2 high-level teams playing each other. Every one of these kids and coaches deserve just a lot of respect and a lot of admiration for what they've done tonight.
And this sounds like a real cliche, but this is a game you hate to see either one of these teams have to lose. Because they've both fought hard the whole game. Douglasville had an opportunity to put their heads down and just say, we're done, and they
Douglasville had the chance to fold a couple of times.
Yes.
And they have not done it. They've continued to fight, and right here they've got a chance to win this ball game late in the game. And that comes back. Coaches get a lot of criticism when things doesn't go well. That's a strong coaching staff over there that can hold this group of kids together and keep them fighting this long.
Well, here we come, Jim. They're coming to the line. 4th and 13, 53 seconds in the ball game. Back into that spread formation.
A little different formation. He's stacked behind the other receiver now rather than a true slot.
Than a true slot.
You're going to run some kind of little pick route here and try to get 44 the ball in space.
Where's 55 at? Where's 55? Where's 55? There's 55.
Holy cow.
55 gets the sack. Now there's your player of the game.
It has to be.
It has to be.
It cannot be anybody else.
How do you leave 55 unblocked there? How do you Wow. I kept saying, where's 55? Where's 50?
Well, and to Douglasville's credit here, you're in a double split in, double slot formation. You've got 5 offensive linemen still inside, and that's a linebacker blitz that is very, very difficult to pick up.
And Jim, I think that's where you're not going to throw the ball to the back.
Correct.
I think you got during that timeout, you need to tell that back you got to find that end on the side we're throwing to.
Well, you work on that pass protection works inside out.
Yes.
You better make sure A gaps are blocked before you go peeling outside.
Yep. Well, I think at this point they're just going to take 3 Well, how many timeouts? Douglasville has 2 timeouts?
May have 1 left. I think they took 2.
So we run a play and then take a couple knees.
It's a ball game.
Yeah.
You're going to see a couple of knees, and of course it's going to be hard to tell their victory formation from their other formation.
That's true. And Jim, I'm going to tell you, for me, Davis Brown just cemented it for me. The player of the game for the Atlanta Colts was Davis Brown, number 55, and I got to give it to Isaiah Ratcliffe for Douglasville.
Now they'll do their own player of the game down here during the trophy presentation, but from up here, that's unanimous on both of them. I don't think
it's got to be. I mean, Brown had the pick off he had the pick 6. He had a big stop right there. I mean, that was a huge sack.
How big? Now the clock can't stop again after that play. Game's going to run out
That's it.
here.
Your Atlanta Colts.
Hats off to the Atlanta Colts. What a way to come into a brand new league.
Yep, 11 and 12-year-old D1 Super Bowl champion Atlanta Colts. And here comes the Gatorade. Coach Larry just said, "Oh no, boys, there ain't no Gatorade bath." I think he threatened litigation if there was a
if I get
Gatorade
wet,
bath.
I'm suing somebody.
Yep. I'm going to sue somebody for being wet. I think, hey, we could have had a slip and fall.
That Douglasville team has nothing to hang their heads about.
No, they lost twice this year to the Super Bowl champions.
Nobody's up here to tell us how to shut this thing off.
Nope. So I guess we're going to keep talking. We're just going to keep going until they come shut the lights off.
What a tremendous ball game. There could not be a better way to wrap up this season.
You know, Jim, that's 2 years in a row that our 11 because last year the 11 and 12-year-old game was predicted to be a blowout.
Well, one team would beat the other one 30-something to nothing during the regular season.
Yeah, that's why
these games, I don't care what it looks like on paper. You get in between the lines and play the stinking game.
That's why they're not played on paper. That's right.
They're played by coin toss sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Mr. Harper, we apologize about all the coin tosses and playing games.
But I think the playoffs have been successful. Are there some things, and I'm gonna put it in a larger context. Are there some things we need to work out with this playoff format? Yes, there are.
But
just like do we have our issues within this league and some things we've got to fix? Absolutely, there are. But you're gonna have to prove to me that there is a better youth football league than the Northwest Georgia Youth Football League.
Well, let's recap real quick. Our 6-year-old Super Bowl champions, undefeated.
Yep.
Our 7-year-old champions lost one game, and the game they lost, they beat the team that they lost to get to Super Bowl. Our 8-year-old champions, undefeated. 9-year-olds, undefeated. 10-year-olds, undefeated. And our 11 and 12s, undefeated.
You can argue the best team won every
Super Bowl. Yep. And coming in here to shut us down is Mr. Randy Riggs so that this file does not get lost like last year's got lost.
And what a huge shout-out to Randy Riggs. And
yes.
To get this equipment out here to highlight these kids. Randy doesn't have kids involved in this organization to even really be involved in the league. And
he does a ton
Randy,
for this
thank you
league.
for everything
Thanks
you
for
do to
everything
showcase
you do.
these kids.
Well, signing off from North Cobb High School, I'm Jeff Chandler.
I'm Jim Black.
Thank you for visiting us.
See you in 2014.
Yes, sir. Good night, everybody.